All right, everybody, welcome to the Fresh Dive podcast. We are now in episode 11, and we have two returning guests to the podcast. Joining me, we have Mr. Ahmad Mehboob and Ali Qureshi. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Glad to be back, man.
Yeah, Amatsky. Amatsky's a fan favorite of the Fresh Dive podcast.
No, not even.
So, Amatsky, welcome back to the Fresh Dive podcast and our relaunch to the world.
No, this is amazing. I'm glad to be back, and especially with Q here. I just want to start off with wishing him a happy belated birthday.
Thanks.
Right?
Thanks so much.
He's one of my close friends, so I didn't get to see him on his birthday, so I'd love to start with that. And I'm super proud of everything he's been doing. And I've witnessed it firsthand. But yeah, I'd love to get started.
Yeah, and today we're going to be actually kind of doing a deep dive in you, Ali Q. You're doing a lot of great things with the CarTrackers. We wanted to kind of just explore your journey into the car business and, kind of do a deep dive on your life, actually.
Man, oh man. Okay.
Nitty and gritty.
Yeah, and honestly, we want to go deep and for the viewers who don't know you and on top of that, people who do know you, things that they may not know about you, kind of the struggles you've been through, and we all have different chapters in our life that shape us and mold us to who we are today.
100%. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Ali, this episode that has been a long time coming because I've been really excited to do this for you, and have you featured because I know your story and I think it's an amazing story. And it's inspirational to a lot of people,
Thanks,
and I mean that from the heart too. I think it's a really inspirational story for a lot of people, and I think it's going to be interesting, inspiring, all of the above, just to hear your story.
Thanks, man.
So without further ado, let's dive in. Tell us everything.
Oh man, where do I start?
Before we go into the car business, let's just get a peek into kind of your early life.
Okay.
Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Let's talk about that a little bit.
So let's start in 1987. I'm just kidding.
No, really. Let's do it. 1987. Where was this?
That's when I was born. 1987.
Yeah. Where were you born?
I was born in the city of Long Beach.
Long Beach.
Yeah.
LBC. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Funny story about that, by the way. So when I was born in Long Beach, I was at, forget the hospital name, but Muhammad Ali was actually at the hospital as well.
Oh.
And my name is Muhammad Ali Qureshi.
Yes.
And after I was born, because they put the patient's name on the front door, all these doctors and nurses and everyone wanted to come visit my mom's room.
Yeah.
And everyone that kept coming in kept getting bummed out that I wasn't Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
So that was a cool story that he was there at that.
That's awesome.
At the hospital at the same time.
That's such a cool little connection.
Yeah. It's cool.
How did you know that Muhammad Ali was in the hospital?
Because of that situation. People kept coming in for autographs, and my mom was like, "Oh, there's no Muhammad Ali here." Yeah, it's a different Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
so. You can't even sign right now.
No, that's one thing I never knew.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Muhammad Ali, possibly?
I have not. I wish I could have.
He's alive, correct?
No, he passed away.
Passed away.
What's it called? One of our good friends, Sadia Chauhan, has a picture of Muhammad Ali holding her as a kid.
Oh wow!
As a
That's
baby.
Dope, yeah.
Kamal. Rizwan's wife. Yeah. Shout out to Rizwan and Sadia.
Kamal's sister.
Yep. Two other good friends of ours. So future potential guests for the podcast that have a legit Muhammad Ali story. That have a better Muhammad Ali.
That and Kamal.
Kamal.
He's my favorite TikToker.
Kamal's really good. I love his TikTok.
I love this TikTok.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. Kamal's a funny guy too. And yeah, definitely, he'd be good to have on the podcast, right? Yeah. Ahmad, you got to be co-host for his episode too.
No. I mean, again, it's gonna be. This is my with Ali. If you get Razu or beef, those are the last three ones I want to be on.
Amatsky's announcing his retirement from the podcast game. But let me tell you, Amatsky, you've been a fan favorite on the podcast.
No, get out of here.
No, really, people love, I'm telling you, I've gotten such great feedback from, the episodes you've been on. So that's why I was like, Amatsky, you cannot retire. You need to come back out here.
No. Look, get Razu or beef from the back here, I'll be on,
All right, we'll do that. Right? So we'll bring them on. All right, so born in Long Beach.
Yep.
Okay, and then talk to us. What else? Then where'd you go from there?
So ended up in Garden Grove.
When did you move to Garden Grove? Because I know you guys. Because when I met you, you lived in Garden Grove.
Yeah. So we moved to Garden Grove.
Yeah.
In front of Mudge.
Yeah, that was when I met you guys. So we moved to Garden Grove. I think when I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
Or first grade.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of my entrepreneurial background started there. I remember as kids, you know, our parents would give us like an allowance or, you know, money for whatever, you know, like an occasion.
Sure.
And I remember at that time, I would always go after my brother and sister. So I would have toys that I would try to sell them. And I would try, because I knew they were going to go spend it at like the, you know, on candy or whatever it is. So I would be like, hey, I got this toy and I'll sell it to you for like $3 or $5.
You would sell their own toys back to them?
No, I'll sell my toys. Toys that I didn't like care for anymore.
Yeah.
And I would just try to sell it to them. So that was like where I started, like, you know, that sales part of, you know, my life.
Poor Khadija and Asif, you know, being scammed out by their brother.
They know that they were gonna create a, you know,
the sales beast over there. So then they bought toys off of you, and that's where
they would buy toys or candy. Like I would get candy and I would sell to them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now Asif stuck with the Barbie toys and that you bought.
Okay, so that's how it kind of started.
It kind of started there, and then. One cool story is, so my parents at the time, you know, we were less fortunate. You know, my parents came from Pakistan. They didn't really, you know, go to school or anything. So, you know, my dad used to work at gas stations and he started doing like mechanical work. He would like fix people's cars out of our, you know, out of our garage, at our home. And my mom at the time wasn't really working. She was like sewing clothes, but she wasn't doing it as like a career, right? She would just do it for, you know, people that she knew. And she was really good at sewing. So she would do that on the side. And they started selling stuff at like swap meets, and then whenever there was like these ICNA conventions or like these Muslim conventions, they would get like tables and try to sell like, you know, adhan clocks and just like prayer rugs and different things. And one year they decided to sell toys. Okay. And I went with my dad to downtown LA, and this is when this is before he passed away. So I want to say this is like 1997. So I'm like 10 years old at the time. Yeah. And I go with my dad to downtown LA super early in the morning. We go get like these yo-yos. Yo-yos were, you know, hot at the time. It was like when yo-yos like were making a comeback. And I went with my dad.
May was in after college when yo-yos were cool.
Side note, I had my when you said that, I already knew Amaz was bringing this up. My trunk in my Avalon, you remember Avalon? I had, my trunk was full of yo-yos, right? And I'll tell you why, because when you know, my parents have always been like 7-Elevens and businesses, whatever, right? One of my uncles, he was selling yo-yos, and then like they were just like they gave it to my dad, and it was like in our storage. And then when my parents moved out of California, I just kept it in my car, and I would just give him out a yo-yo. He was like, "Why do you have all these yo-yos?" You know. But that we digress. But continue. Yes.
Okay. So we end up seeing like these yo-yos there. So I told my dad, "Hey, let's get these yo-yos." And I seen like laser pointers, and this is when laser pointers had just come out. So we picked up some laser pointers, and you know, we headed to the convention. And that day, I was like, I told my parents, I'm just gonna take care of, you know, the yo-yos and like all the toys pretty much. So what I did was I got a couple of my friends and I gave them some yo-yos, and I was like, hey, go where like a bunch of kids are and like just start playing with the yo-yos. And obviously that was gonna attract the crowd, and people were gonna be like, hey, where'd you get that from? And they pointed them like, oh, there's a guy over there that's selling them.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I started from there. So I started throwing deals as well. So we were selling the yo-yos for $20, and we were buying them for like $1 or $2. It was crazy.
$20 for a yo-yo?
But I had a deal, 2 for $30.
2 for $30? That's still insane.
At that time,
let's go back to that's $20 back then. It's probably $100.
I'm thinking $5 is reasonable.
I thought fidget spinners were expensive.
So look, I'm selling these yo-yos, and all these kids were getting their parents to come and buy them, and I was selling them, and I was selling like 2, 3, 4 yo-yos. I was setting deals. And then the laser pointers, obviously, those were selling like hotcakes. I was doing the same thing. I was doing like 1 for $20, 2 for $30, and we sold out on Saturday. I sold out completely.
Amazing.
So Sunday we went back to downtown to get more. So we stocked up, got more merchandise, came back. And at this time, I'm 10 years old. I'm like, shoot, I just figured out how to do business, you know?
You just made I'm sure a couple grand.
I really did. So I was literally walking around everyone was having fun and playing. I was making money for my parents, you know?
Of course.
And at that time, with Crazy Stories, I made more than them. Like, no one was really buying the stuff that they were selling. And, thank God they tried, and,
of course.
Well, they were trying to hustle. But it was also because, like, a lot of people were selling the same thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of competition.
Exactly. But you found something that was different that You know what I mean?
And I figured out a way to like
this
get the
day
kids.
is you call viral, right?
Yeah.
But back then that was not a word for it. But
So I figured out a way for the to attract the kids. I knew like if a few kids seen it, then everyone's gonna want it, right?
100%.
So I was like going around with the like laser pointers pointing at like towards kids and like kind of luring them toward
He was
towards
putting that cat up or that star.
Or do you remember the lady?
Oh yeah, I love those. The little tops, like
So we had like all the different tops, and on Sunday I bought like there was a kit where you can buy that were just tops only. So the kids I bought on Saturday they could buy different tops. So I'm like walking around with like thousands in my pocket. And at that time I didn't really know what money was. And had I known, I definitely would have been walking around with that much money. But that was kind of where like I started, that business side. And it was cool, like just doing that as a kid.
Man, no, 100%, especially at 10 years old.
At 10 years old.
That's great, man.
It was such a cool experience, and it kind of helped me like with sales.
No, and on top of that, okay, you make like say a couple grand or maybe probably more with the with those outrageous prices you're mentioning. And then imagine you do that, and then you go back to school, and like how are you like, hey, I just made 2-3 grand just on this weekend. I'm sure that's where your mind's at now, like, right?
I mean, I was always like into just like making money, because like I told you, like growing up we didn't really have much, and I'm thankful for my parents. I never regretted anything, but just like I seen like what other kids had and like what we had, and I never like thought something about my parents like, oh, why are we not like this? But I wanted to strive to to have a different or better life.
Of course. I'm asking, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying, like, as you were mentioning that, I had like a crazy, like, I remember this. It's so nuts. Like when I was living, obviously same thing became. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Anaheim. I kid you not, asked my parents, man, me and my like 4 or 5 friends, like in apartments, but where there was like a grass area. You put like a mini convenience store. It's only that you mentioned this now that I recalled. We went to like the 99-cent store, bought the large packets of Mexican candy, and like we would sell it like for like just 3 or 4 days, right? And people would come and buy from there, because I don't know if you know, that's like a real hustle. Like back then, there were at some apartments you go and people would buy candy from there, right? Or like different things inside it.
Yep, 100%. I know, and Ali, you kind of mentioned, like, hey, kind of what you said right now in terms of like your upbringing, you didn't have everything. I understand that completely. We weren't rich or anything like that growing up. But the thing is, I feel like all of those like lessons and how you're brought up really shape who you
100%,
are. And like you said, I mean, I don't regret that at all. In fact, I prefer that.
I prefer it too.
Yeah, because honestly, it keeps you grounded.
It does,
right? I mean, because think about it. Like, I mean, and again, no judgment to other people. I mean, if people.
But you only understand that until you go through it. But you want that. You don't want that for your kids, though.
Sure. No.
Right?
No. You're right.
It's like,
right. Of course, I want to.
Once you kind of go through that, you understand it, and you're like, oh shoot, that's what makes you like.
But on that note, though, I'm asking, you're 100% right. Of course, we all want to provide the most best for our kids too.
Of course.
But on that same note, I don't, because I know how I was raised. I don't want them to be spoiled.
Exactly.
Right. And I don't want them to grow up like, hey, you can have whatever you want. You see anything? Oh, let's go on Amazon. Let's go buy it right now. I don't want that for them, because
100%.
Sure, I can buy him whatever game he wants, but like, hey, you got to earn it too a little bit, right? Do good in school, or if you reward him for like if he's whatever it is, right?
100%. I'm on the same
and but just because, hey, thankfully we can provide for that, I want to have him be grounded with that same kind of mentality. Because the thing is, I'm telling you, growing up, and this might be me being a middle child, I never asked anything from my parents, right? Same, because I didn't ask. I didn't have nice shoes. I didn't have anything, because I was like, I know they're always working and struggling, and it's hard, right? And the thing is, as a kid, you don't really realize all the struggle they go through. 100%. But like when you're older and like you reflect,
it hit me junior high. Oh no, elementary, junior high.
It really didn't hit me until I want to say post college, right? Because like, once you start working and having to pay for things yourself, then you realize, man, my parents like did all that for me.
They did a lot. They sacrificed a lot.
They sacrificed so. And the thing is, I'm like, man, how they did it, And then I'll tell my own experience. I mean, my parents had 3 kids, right? And they weren't making that much money, for that. And I'm like, when we just had Kairos, I was like, man, I was like, I can't complain, like all the things. But I know exactly what you mean when you say that, of like that bring, and how I wouldn't change it.
Either. Definitely wouldn't have changed a thing.
Yeah.
So then that's like the big thing that stands out to me when I was a kid, just that event and making money. And then later in life, like after my dad passed away, I would, go with my mom to swap meet and help her sell, different things that she was selling. So that kind of helped me like kind of mold me into a sales guy, I guess.
And so you bring up when your dad passed away.
Yeah.
Right. And I know it's a sensitive topic. Yeah. Right. What year did he pass away?
So he passed away in 1999.
Okay, and then when he passed away in 99, like that, obviously you're the oldest son, right? I would imagine that propelled you. Like, how did that impact you in terms of like, hey, you're like the man of the house.
The man of the house, 100%. Yeah. So I kind of didn't really have like.
Are you cool to talk about it?
Yeah, 100%. So it was obviously a tough time in our life.
Yeah.
I'm like I think I was 12 years old at the time. It was 1999. Mm-hmm. I think I was just 12. My brother had just turned 9. So his birthday was June 2nd. My dad passed away on June 5th.
June 2nd, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So it hit my brother and my sister really hard. They were, I want to say, more closer to my dad, and I was always like the mama's boy. Mm-hmm. Always there with my mom. Obviously, I love my dad.
Sure.
But I was just always a mama's boy.
100%. Yeah.
I was the oldest son, and just...
that boys are always
going to be
towards their mom.
And I know my sister really was a tough time for her. Yeah. And for girls, it's always going to be tough, right? Because a father is like such a a great figure in their life.
Yeah.
So that's why it was tough for them. And for me, I didn't really understand how to be like. Obviously, I couldn't be their parent, right?
Yeah.
I tried to be the best big brother that I could, but I had deficiencies in my life. I didn't really know that role, right? I mean, obviously, I've never done this before.
Yeah, of course.
I had to
and you're 12.
I'm 12. I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I'm a kid. Now I'm looking at my kids are almost 12.
Yes, exactly. I was just gonna say
they'll be 12 at the end of this year.
Yeah,
so that's crazy. This is like around the time that my dad passed away.
Yeah.
And that's always been one of my goals. Like I want to make sure I'm always there for my kids,
of course.
And always there for my daughters, because I know a father and a daughter's life is like the biggest thing.
100%.
So it definitely affected them a lot.
Yeah.
And especially my mom too. I mean, think about it. She lost her life partner, and now she's in this world by herself now. Ultimately, right? Like none of her siblings are here. All her siblings are in Pakistan. So she didn't really have that support. She didn't have a support system.
God, yeah.
And we had some good family friends. We had some great family friends, to be honest. Like Hassan and Umair. Hassan Maz's mom was like my mom's best friend growing up. She helped my mom at any time. If she was like a great friend to my mom, and she had a lot of other great friends. But we didn't have any none of her family was here, and that was tough for her.
Yeah. It has to be. I mean, like you said, she was kind of alone. I mean, you had a community that you guys were developing.
100%, yeah.
And that's definitely that's such a tough situation.
It was, yeah.
And I got to say, man, I commend you for you had to grow up really fast, yeah. Because your childhood is not the same as everybody else's, and I
understand that. It's cool, and
and it's okay. It shapes you.
At the end of the day, alhamdulillah, I don't regret that either. Whatever happened to my dad, that helped set up the rest of our life, right? Yep. I mean, I don't want to say that as a bad thing, but I probably would have never met my wife if my dad was alive, honestly, because he would have never let that slide. I would have never grown up the way I had. My mom wouldn't have stepped into the way, done certain things. Like our life would have been completely different. Allah has a plan, and that was just His plan at the time, right?
100%. We what's it called? Everything that we are at this point, everything that's happened along the way has shaped us to this point. Like you said, if it's it's a tragic thing still. We can acknowledge that. It's tragic, but like you said, things happen. It happened. And it's all about how we respond to that. Of course, right? Yeah. And I think you responded amazing to it. Let me say that, right? And you've set up this great you've set up this great standard for your kids now. Right, you've been a great role model to them, and great role model to your siblings too. Because even though you're close in age with them, and that role, you don't. Of course, at the 12 years old, you don't know what it's like to be a father. Yeah. But you're a big brother. Yeah. You're a strong male presence for them. Yeah. And I want to just let you know that we see that. Right?
I appreciate that.
And I see that.
I appreciate that.
And like you said. You see the strong role a father has for their daughter,
of course.
And I have a daughter too, so I see it. And man, I'm telling you, when I see news articles or something where like somebody passes away or like tragically like somebody gets murdered or something, and they have small kids, man, that like just kills me to see that, you know. But you know, you've been such a great presence to your kids, and you, like you said, that situation with your father impacts you and how you want to be for your kids.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
So everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens
it's
for a
like
reason.
You said, it's in God's plan.
Yeah.
It's all about how we respond to it. And I'll say this, you've responded really well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So I didn't really have like that teenage type of years, like, you know, my dad passed away when I was about 12, and then later in life, you know, like say high school years, I didn't really get to do all these different type of things. Like I had a job, I was working, I had to try to help, you know, build try to make money for my mom and try to help pay the bills. I remember I was doing like Uber before Uber, so my mom had a minivan, and I went to school. I lived in Garden Grove, and I went to school in Huntington Beach, which is like a better area, I guess. And my mom wanted me to get out of Garden Grove, which I guess was the ghetto at the time, which wasn't that bad, but you know how our parents are. They want the best for us, right?
Of course.
So there was like 4 other girls who lived in my community that also did the same thing. So I would take those kids, I would take them to school, and their parents were paying us like $200 per kid every month.
Amazing.
So I was making like $1,000 there a month.
Extra, and you're gonna be going there anyway, right?
I was going there anyway, so I was just taking them, bringing them back. So that was like, you know, another part of the business, right? Learning how to like make money in different ways.
He was charging them gas too.
No, that was my friend. So I would have friends in high school, and you know, they would be like, "Oh, I want to go here." You know, like I had a car. I was like one of my only friends with a car. And luckily, thank God, my mom was able to, you know, bless me with the car. And my first car was a Geo Prism, and she had a Plymouth Voyager. So I figured, hey, I'd rather drive that because I felt like I could make money with that. Just because it was a 7-seater, I was able to take all my friends. We go eat, they pay for my food or whatever it was, or you know, I take them somewhere, they'll give me like gas money. So I never had to worry about gas. Like my gas was always covered for my friends, pretty much. So that was cool. Couple other like things in life. I remember one thing before my dad passed away. So like we talked about like just sacrifices like our parents made. I remember my mom. There was these shoes that I really wanted. There was the Kobe Crazy 8s. And I wanted the shoes so bad. My mom went and got them for me. And I remember listening to my parents like arguing. My dad's like, "Oh, you know, there's a lot."
How much were they?
I forget. I mean, as a kid, I didn't really pay attention, but it was like.
I mean, even if they were like,
it was under $100. I think.
Like but that was like the most expensive.
Oh yeah,
no, that was like $200 back then.
Yep. No, the thing is, prices of shoes have dramatically gone up, right? Yeah. So I mean, the top like most expensive pair is like $250, but it used to be. I remember when I would buy shoes,
it's probably like $100.
It was like 115 was like the most expensive.
That's probably what it was.
And the regular shoes were 30, 40.
I know, and that's why at the time when Kobe Crazy 8s came out, it's probably $90-$80 was the most expensive. So I mean,
so probably Jordan was right above that.
But so I really wanted those shoes, and I remember my mom went and got them for me, and then my dad, like, you know, kind of argued with my mom, like, hey, you know, why are you spending this much on shoes? He's a kid, this and that. And, you know, I sacrificed, and I was like, you know what? At the time, like, I understood our situation, so I just told my parents, hey, go return the shoes. I was cool with it. And I remember that was like a sacrifice that you make when you understand, like, where your parents are at and where they are, like, economically at the time. So I was like, you know what? It's not that necessary. I would love to have those shoes, but I didn't really need it. It wasn't a necessity for me. So that was like a story I wanted to throw in there.
What's it called? Like you said, the parents made so many sacrifices
100%,
for us. And like your example of the shoes, I have a similar story. I don't know if you guys know the toy Teddy Ruxpin. Do you guys know this?
No.
Do you know the Teddy Ruxpin toy?
No, I don't.
It's this.
That's before my time.
You're not that much yet. Okay, so let me tell you. This toy.
May's 50. What?
Okay, you guys are both right around me, right? Let me tell you that right now. Okay, Teddy Ruxpin was the premier toy, right? And the thing is, it was this stuffed animal that you put a tape in its back, and he like talks and reads a book with you. Right. It was the most expensive toy at $60.
Oh wow.
Right?
Okay.
This is like when we were kids. I mean, I was too young. My brother really wanted it. Right. $60 for just like a stuffed animal. Right. Which let me tell you, this is super expensive back in those times. Right. My mom worked at KFC. And she just
my mom did too.
Yeah? So I didn't know that, you know? So my mom worked at KFC, and my brother really wanted it. right? He would see the commercials for it, and then she worked, extra shifts for it, and she got it for him. And she only worked just so she could get him that toy.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
So my mom used to work at KFC, and then this is when I lived in Anaheim, and I was going junior high, ball junior high, and it was real close by. And when I would go there with my my friends, and she would hook us all up, right?
With chicken.
Yeah, with chicken, whatever you want to eat. But she got fired.
I wonder what.
Hey, Miss Evans, you make $10 an hour, but you've given away thousands of dollars worth of chicken to these kids.
Yeah, and then she was so caring. That just us, but she was so caring. She was giving more free food out than
selling it.
Yeah. So you see extra kids that they didn't order too much, so she would give extra food.
That's nice.
I think besides us, she was just giving too much extra.
Somebody orders. Oh man, I only have look in the wallet. I only have enough for a 2-piece.
Yeah, so mom would just
and then the manager meanwhile is like, we're ordering so much chicken. We're only selling this much, and we have. That's exactly that.
That's funny. Yeah,
that's too funny.
No. Okay, so then. You were propelled to take on this, and so your childhood experience, and of course, knowingly, has been much different than a lot of other people.
Much
right?
different, yeah.
And by necessity. Let me ask you this: did your mom ever approach you and have a conversation with you about any of this, what's going on, how it impacts? That's
not really. I just more so understood it. She never told me hey, I can't do certain things, or I gotta go and work. I kind of figured when she asked me to get a job, she kind of guided me. I guess she had a family friend. So one of my first job actually was working at GNC, but not in the front. I would work in the back doing cold calls, and I was calling. They had a list, I guess, people whenever they'd how they do these little raffles. You submit your information. I would call these customers and say, hey, we have a promo for the month, or we have a special or whatever. So that's kind of where another kind of helped build my sales. And I was just cold calling people all day. I would go on the weekends.
Before email blast or police.
I would go on weekends, and literally he would have a box full of cards, and I would literally call the cards. And when I finished the box thinking I'm done, he'd bring another box of cards. and that helped me turn down, I would have people hang up on me. I would have people interested, and I would kind of sell them on it. So that kind of helped me with cold calling.
And people who have never cold called before, that's tough.
It is tough.
Because you're dealing with hang-ups nonstop, rejection, all the time. That's a tough. That'll strengthen you on your phones quickly.
100%. And I never knew that as a teenager, right? But now when I think back, I'm wow, that really helped me get to where I am, right? These little things in life, you never know what's setting you up for the future. So you can never take stuff for granted. So I really appreciate that time in my life. It was for 6 months or a year, but it was great. It was a Saturday, Sunday gig. One of my mom's friends just was trying to help me out, and just got me this weekend job.
What'd you convert? What was your
I don't remember. It wasn't I didn't have a sales goal. I just all I needed to do was just call people and just tell them what was going on. So it wasn't we weren't tracking any metrics.
Because that's what you look for as a business owner now.
Judge. Right. At that time, he never asked me, how many people are going to come in, or how many people
what are the metrics about it?
At that time, it wasn't like that. But
make sure that when you walk in.
And people knowing me growing up, knew I was very shy. Especially after my dad passed away. I was a little just socially awkward. I didn't really talk as much.
When we met you, you're a completely different person now. 100%.
Let's touch on that. We'll get to that in one second. No, that's good. No, but I definitely want to talk about when we met Ali, because I have a funny story about that. But no, we'll get into that. But what's it called? Let me ask you this, Ali. We've talked about the sacrifices. Have you ever sat down with your mom, just you two, and just talked to her about thanking her for all the sacrifices and giving her because the thing is, let me tell you. And I'll be completely honest, I don't think I really have done that with my parents.
I'm sure I haven't thanked her for as much as she's done. My mom did a lot to think about it. When my dad passed away in 99, this lady that came from overseas, her English was okay at the time. She really had to she really had to figure out what to do. And she didn't she wasn't putting a hand out, trying to get handouts from people. She didn't want to get remarried. She wanted to figure it out on her own. She started doing the carpooling thing. She was doing so many different things. She started sewing clothes for people, and she became a monster in that. Honestly, she was
it sounds
selling
you know what that sounds like, right?
You. 100%. No,
I feel like I've really
you learned a lot.
Learned a lot from my mom. My mom was really She's the one that started my business, to be honest.
100%.
No, she taught you. I think by doing, like not telling you what to do, by doing, and you watching her do it, I think that helped you and 100%. Who you are today.
Because I remember my mom, she would always take us to school, always pick us up. So she would drop us off. She'd go work at the 99-cent store, come pick us up, go back to work, come home late, and then she was sewing, and she was making a killing in sewing pretty much. Like she was sewing these things for like $10-$20, selling them for like $100-$150. Amazing. And she was just building, like saving all her money. And to be honest, that's how I started, in the car business with her capital. She gave me like an X amount of dollars and was like, hey, this is all I have.
Yep.
Figure out what you want to do and try to make some money with it. So she's really like the backbone of CarTrackers or whatever car company I started with.
Yeah.
Which originally was AQ Motors.
AQ Motors, CarTrackers.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean,
Q Incorporated.
And I don't thank her enough, but I mean, I've thanked her multiple times, but not like just thanking her is not enough, right? Like what she's done and what she's sacrificed, not getting remarried, not doing all these things. It's a big sacrifice, right?
Big time.
And she did it all for her kids, and that's like very, it's a very, what's the word? I mean, I can't even speak on it.
No. I know. The thing is, I know exactly, because I mean, it's you guys. Your siblings are indebted to her.
Oh, 100%.
You can't pay somebody back for that. There's no dollar amount that you can pay. Like that's like life sacrifices, and credit to your mom, man. And let me tell you, missed opportunity for your mom. Let me tell you right now. Was her opening a restaurant because she makes amazing food. I'm telling you, I've had the pleasure of you guys have hosted us over for.
I guess Ali didn't learn everything. Her cooking skills.
No, you can attest to this too. 100%. You've had us over for dinner many times,
multiple dishes.
And I've said that I was like, no wonder Ali Q was getting on a bigger side. He's eating like a king over here. I've said it to you many times.
That's like your favorite line back in the day.
Yeah, I was like, Ali is eating like a king.
And also, I mean. May became known as a 7-plater because when we go to Ali's house, he would refill at least 7 times.
And let me tell you, credit. I mean, it was because your mom's cooking was that delicious, and I was living probably at the time when we met. I was living by myself. I didn't have that home.
I remember
cooking.
You would appreciate it the most out of everyone.
100%. Because I mean, my parents lived in Michigan, so I don't get like that home cooked meal like always. So I definitely appreciate your mom for that. And I was saying, man, missed opportunity is a restaurant. She could probably had a killing right there.
Yeah. Honestly, she probably could have.
No, that's awesome. So do you remember, Matsky, you were part of this. Us three actually were the main culprits, and Unique Auto. We shot the first AQ Motors commercial. Do you remember that commercial?
I could never forget.
I gave a sneak peek of it on Omer Ashraf's episode on the Fresh Jet podcast.
Do you still have the video?
Oh, you better believe I have the video. Man. We may see a little clip of it at the end of this podcast coming up.
I got you.
It was such a fun, and this was kind of when we were friends at this point because we're hanging out shooting videos.
It was at Omer's house.
It was at Omer's house. It was at Unique Auto's house. We shot it, and Omer was in the commercial.
It was like I think it was either in like a Chevy Tahoe or something.
It was such a and Amatsky was the main actor, and then Amatsky was a young aspiring actor / model in it. It was such a fun commercial because we tried to give you like a coin term. I got you. You remember that?
Yep.
And then we said, and then Omer comes out and he was like, Ali Q, say habla español. And then we looked up how to say I got you in Spanish. You're like, yo, dígame. Something like that, right?
Sí se puede.
Something like that.
That's a lot of fun. But it was cool. Like he's like a competitor, I guess. But he's also a friend, and like we just did something funny together. It's cool.
Let's take a sponsor break right now. What's it called? First of all, let me tell you this. This episode is going to be brought to you by the CarTrackers, which is Ali Q's company. So we'll take a quick sponsor break for that, and we'll jump back in to kind of how Ali Q took the next chapter.
Also, how many cars have I referred to you? I referred a lot of clients to you.
Clients, probably.
Yeah. I've been keeping a tally with my lawyers. Want to bring up next?
And when we come back from the sponsor break, we're going to talk about Ahmad's new broker deal with the CarTrackers. But we'll take a break right now.
Man, I really want to get rid of my car. I've already tried Craigslist and Auto Trader, but I'm not getting the money I want. Where do I go to?
I got you.
Who, me?
I got you. Need cash for your car? I got you. Need cash for your car? I got you. Can't afford your payment on your car? I got you. Have an extra car lying around at home, don't need it? I got you. Hit up Ali Qureshi with AQ Motors, which is me. My number is 714-383-1491. I buy any car, any miles, any make, running or not, any condition. I got you.
Ali Q, ¿quita de mí?
Está entendido.
How about this? Person's worth is measured by the worth of his value.
Oh, this one's different.
Everyone's different.
Okay.
These napkins are a contribution of my wife Rimsha. She,
Okay.
I came in. She was like cleaning up a little bit in here for me. I came in. I see these 3 napkins. Like, why did you put these napkins here? She's like, oh, just to give you guys some inspiration.
Nice.
You know,
I like it. It's
Yeah.
good.
What does yours say?
Mine says, "Our life is what our thoughts make it."
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, Ali,
It
what's
is
yours?
not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live.
What? Say that again.
It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live.
That's deep right there.
Very deep.
I hear that.
All right, let's jump back into it. So we coming back from our sponsor break. Ali Q, you've kind of been propelled now to like the man of the house.
Yeah.
You were working at GNC, and then talk to us. What was kind of next in your life?
So after that, I went and worked at Del Taco.
Shout out Del Taco.
Shout out Del Taco.
Were you giving away free tacos to people
I
too?
was helping out some people, here and there. But I was a good employee at Del Taco. I mean, I try to do as much as I can.
I don't know, Q. I think I remember you telling me making some custom stuff for yourself.
Oh, I made the best burritos, the best tacos. I had the best.
Yeah, he didn't have the 8-layer or 7-layer. He had the 13-layer.
I made like the best food at Del Taco. I couldn't wait to my lunchtime because I would just make different things. And like all like the girls that worked there, like the older ladies that worked there, they would always like help me and like they like really because I was like such a foodie at that time as well. And they were like always like, oh, try this, and it was like such a cool part of my life.
Man, you should have probably submitted some of those things to corporate headquarters, right?
Yeah.
But
I remember one thing that stuck with me when I was working at Del Taco. There was a manager there. His name was Augustine. I'll never forget him. And I remember like me, I had like aspirations to do more. Like I wanted to like become a shift lead or something. Like I always wanted to do more than like the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. So I asked him like, oh, what can I do to get a higher role and become a manager? And I asked him once, like, oh, how much do you make as a general manager? He's like, oh, more than you'll ever make. And I remember that, like, stuck with me. And I'm like, man, like, what a jerk. Like, why would he say that to me?
Yeah.
So I remember that, like, that always stuck with me.
Augustine, where you at now, big dog? We got to talk.
So, yeah, that was, that's something that always stuck with me.
I mean, he was a stepping stone to what you are today.
Honestly, it kind of, like, put you, it kind of, like,
so if you meet him today, would you be angry at him or thank him?
I wouldn't thank him, right?
Yeah,
I never had ill feelings towards anyone.
No, let me tell you. After Augustine said that to you, he turned away from you. He had a tear rolling down his face. It pained him to say that, but he wanted to light a fire.
And the crazy thing is, I was the only one at that Del Taco that spoke English. Everyone else was like Spanish speaker only.
Hey, he turned away from Ali with the tear going down. He was like, "Just go, kid. Just run now. Run to your goals."
No, but that was like a good time in my life as well.
This is the most we can do for you.
But that was a good time in my life as well. That helped me. Like I was upselling stuff. Like I'd be like, "Hey, do you want to drink with this? Or you want to make it a meal?" So like learning these little things. Like at the time, you don't think about it, but it really like helps.
You learn to talk.
You learn to talk. And I was able to just talk to anyone. I was talking to like all types of people, right?
And
like kids,
and I get you. Just by working
people.
there, I bet you picked up Spanish without knowing it.
A little bit, poquito.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, Cuban Motors habla español.
No, people don't realize that like you can work at minimum wage jobs, but by being there, you could do so much. You could do so many other things to bring value to yourself.
Yeah, I sort of the papas fritas. I'd be like, more papas fritas.
No, like it's like same thing. Like I mean, whatever I do, right? Like I try to communicate to my clients in whatever language, even if it's one word or like a whole sentence.
Yeah. Okay, so then Del Taco, that Augustine kind of lit a fire under you.
He lit a fire,
right?
Yeah.
And then what happened next after that?
The next job. So at this time, I met Kia, and Kia got a job like right after high school. She got a job at this.
And Kia was a year older than you.
She was a year older than me.
Right, and so you met her. What grade were you in?
I was in
freshman year.
So no, when I met Kia, I met her when I was a So we took a class together during the summer after my sophomore year.
Okay.
So I actually met her
when you were
there,
junior.
but I never talked to her. I was scared at the time.
You got
she
it.
was like the cute girl that sat like two rows in front of me.
Yeah.
But we took a summer class together. Never spoke to her one time.
Yeah.
But when I actually met her was my junior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she was senior then.
She was a senior, yeah.
And was she playing on the team?
She was playing basketball on the team, yeah.
And were you playing on the team?
I was playing on the team, yeah.
Oh, you made the team.
I made the team,
I'm
but I
shocked
didn't
by
really
that.
play.
Yeah,
I didn't play.
exactly.
Everyone at the time made the team, so I was.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
Okay.
I
It was one of those situations.
Yeah, so
I was actually 100% shocked. I only played on the team.
So how was she really? Because she was killing you when we met you, so she was probably like
No, Kia was,
destroying you.
Kia was really good back then. Yeah.
And she goes on to play college basketball.
She went and played D1 basketball.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's really impressive.
Yeah. So, I met Kia like my junior year of high school. Great time in my life. I loved high school. It was probably the most fun I've had. Just like just being a kid and not having to worry about stuff.
Of course, yeah.
It was just a great time.
So you met her junior year. How did you guys start talking?
So I
Was it one of those love and basketball situations?
No. So I actually met her through a friend, and we started talking on AIM on AOL Messenger.
Speaking of which, what was your screen name?
Oh man, my screen name was PsychoBala10.
PsychoBala10. Let's go. Amatsky, we all know Amatsky, your screen name?
Ahmad Dog.
Ahmad Doggy Dog. That's one. And FYI, that's one of the reasons I still call Ahmad Doggy Dog that name to this day is because of his screen name. You know that, right?
And yours was about Fresh Jive?
Fresh Jive.
Okay.
Fresh Jive.
The Fresh Jive podcast.
Thank God I dropped the PsychoBala.
The PsychoBala podcast coming up. Okay. So you messaged her on AIM with your PsychoBaller screen name.
PsychoBala10. Yeah.
If I recall, like later on, your screen name was Ali Q, right?
Yeah, I changed it.
Ali Q 10.
When I figured out that
You had a 76, no?
I don't think so.
No, it was Ali Q like 1087. 1087.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because that's when I met you.
Okay. Yeah.
So you messaged a Kia with PsychoBala. You're like, oh, this is gonna win her over. Okay.
No, at that time, honestly, I actually liked.
But everybody had screen names like that. Though. It wasn't like out of the ordinary.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Like Ahmad was Pakistani Bala.
Not it for basketball.
Okay, so you messaged her on AIM.
Yeah, so we're just talking on AIM and just as friends. And,
What was her name?
Honestly, I don't know why I can't remember right now.
Respective Fashion? I mean, that's what it is now. Which I love, by the way. And I was listening to
it was Respective Fashion for a while.
It's still Respective Fashion on Instagram.
No, but what was your AIM?
I think it was like something. Honestly, she's gonna kill me that I don't remember.
Wow.
I feel like a jerk. I don't remember. And it's gonna come to me during the episode. I'm gonna figure it out during the episode.
You got a little time. You got less than an hour.
Cut it out, man.
Hey, no, we'll dub it in later.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Just make the sentence. Her screen name was.
Yeah, her screen name was
Extra Smooth 22.
You didn't pause it.
I was long enough.
You can edit that.
Yeah, I'll edit it. It'll be good.
Honestly, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
But yeah.
So you guys were talking on AIM, and then when did it become like, hey, let's pursue a relationship?
So, it was actually after she had graduated. So the whole, her senior year, my junior year, we were best friends. We would hang out almost every day during lunch, after school. We'd hang out.
Yeah.
We were on the phone like all the time, just talking about just random
your
stuff.
kids are watching this.
Yeah,
I'm sure they've shared their story about how their parents met. You know.
So yeah, we were.
Did you guys go to school dances together?
No. Okay, so funny story. One of the school dance. I only went to one school dance, and I remember going to the school dance and I had no idea how to dance, right? And I had,
not much has changed.
I was really scared of that, and I remember Kia kind of poking fun at me.
Cute. You gotta put yourself. You have to dance.
So I remember Kia getting her and a bunch of there's 3 other cute girls that she was with, and they all rushed me to try to dance with me, and it was the most embarrassing. I was running away from them, and it was the most embarrassing thing ever. And everyone was like, "Man, you got 3 hot girls running after you."
Hold on, how's that embarrassing? 3 cute girls squishing
Because
up
I
to
wouldn't.
you?
I
No,
wasn't
he wasn't dancing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's called a brag.
Oh yeah, I got these girls chasing after me.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was like the funniest thing.
Excuse us.
Yeah, it was the funniest thing.
Yeah, I was at the wall, bro.
No, I'm almost playing Pokemon in the library.
I was playing trading with
Yeah,
Zico.
He's playing Pokemon with Zico the whole time. Oh, okay. So they chased after you, and
I mean, my junior, I wasn't like popular enough. I was like the nerdy kid. Had like this afro. I wore the same sweatshirt every single day to high school that had like this ink stain on the top.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like a nerdy kid.
Okay.
And Kia saw something in me, I guess. I don't know. We were just cool friends. And I remember for my birthday, after she had graduated, she took me like on a shopping spree for my birthday. She went and bought me some stuff, and then I ended up buying myself some stuff. And she pretty much gave me a makeover. She bought me like all these nice clothes.
What brands were they?
Honestly, I don't remember. No, it wasn't like that.
No. Echo is what I was skating a lot, but like.
I can't remember the brands. Honestly, it was like, bro, this was like over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This is when I was like 17.
Nothing you remember though? Like
Miller's Outpost?
Miller's Outpost?
Yeah.
That was at the West.
They worked there.
We went to I think it was Nordstrom's or something. We went there and bought some stuff. And I remember she went and got me, she went and took me to a black barber, got me a haircut. I got a lineup. I got like the little thin chin strap. And after that, my life changed. Like
chin strap.
That was like, my swag changed. I became, I guess you could say someone.
Hey, wait a minute. Hang on. So let me get this right. You and Akia's story was a she's all that, but you were the girl. You were the project. You were the
I've seen a Nick Cannon movie where.
Wait. So you were the project kid? Like, Akia and all her girlfriends are like, hey, I bet you I could change anybody into the most popular guy. And they're like, all right, you guys pick different.
No, I imagine him walking down the stairs all dirty. And Akia and her friends are watching him.
They're like, him, that's the one. No, and the kid's like, no. I thought you could change him. All right, you know what? Challenge accepted. She's like,
he's taken on an impossible bet.
I'll pick the girl, and you got 6 weeks to turn her into the prom queen. Gentlemen, we have a winner.
And Summer, you're like, all right, watch. I'm gonna take him on his birthday shopping spree. Let's get him. So there's a whole montage happening of you guys buying all these clothes, the black barber shop, line up, and then he comes out to the party, and then you're just like a whole new person.
Yeah.
Right?
I gotta send you some photos from back in the day around that time.
I got a joke, but for later.
No. Send us those photos. We're gonna pop them up on the screen.
Yes, the on the rooftop.
That was around that time, yeah.
What was the rooftop?
There's a picture on my old Facebook of like Kia edited like a bunch of me like doing different poses on a rooftop. It was hilarious.
We need that picture.
Yeah, they were so cool.
Yeah. Okay. So then she gives you a makeover for so she can bring you around her friends.
What was the movie with Freddie?
She's all that.
She's all that.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. Yeah.
There's that movie with Nick Cannon as well. I forget what it's called.
Of course, you would bring up the Nick Cannon movie.
With Christina Milian. I forget the movie.
Oh no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Remember, he's like a nerd, and she gives him a makeover, and he becomes like.
Of course, you would bring up that. We're bringing up she's all that. That's suburban kids, Oh Lord. Okay. All right. So then that happens after high school graduation. After she graduated.
Yeah. Okay. She was already in college.
Okay. So then when did it become like, hey, let's date?
It's like right after that, like I would say weeks after my haircut.
Right after you get fresh with
I guess Kia saw something in me that
she's like, okay.
Yeah.
After
hang on. Kia's friends are like, all right, cool. You won the bet. Here's $1,000. And she's like, no, it's okay. Keep the money.
It's like Urkel.
So really, it was crazy. Like at that time, like a lot of stuff changed. Like she obviously started liking me. Obviously, I already had feelings towards her.
Akia's friends are like, hey, you're not actually interested in him, are you now?
This is all a joke. 10 years later, 4 kids.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Kia's good with her bets.
Hey, this is a a long play.
She follows through.
Man, she's still sticking through. Okay, all right. So then you guys started talking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And she went to Utah, or
Not yet. She was at Santa Ana College at this time.
Okay, Santa Ana College. Okay,
Yeah.
Did she play ball at Santa Ana College?
Yeah.
She did. I remember
Yeah.
she had an alumni game recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
And at the time, she had like at Santa Ana, she had like set the school record for points.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was
Amazing.
cool. She was doing
Bro,
some big things there.
imagine like that she would have been in the WNBA.
She probably could have. She was good.
No.
And I remember like after high school, me and her would play basketball every single day, like get her ready for college.
Yep.
We were literally playing like up to 100. We play like up to 100 like right hand, then left hand.
Yep.
And she became, I feel like after high school, she became a beast. Like,
Yeah.
No,
just us
especially if you
working on
got
it. We were doing like, you know, like May shoots 1,000 shots. She was doing like 500 shots. I was rebounding for her.
Nice.
And yeah, it was.
And so then she after she graduated, she was at Santa Ana College. So she still was local.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you go to her games over there.
Yeah, I was with her all the time. I mean, we were at this time. Then we started, you know, dating. I guess.
Yeah.
You could say that. Yeah. So I asked her out. I remember November 18th.
Okay. You remember that date?
Of course, yes. I asked her out at Joe's Crab Shack. We went. I took her out for dinner.
Nice.
And pretty much asked her out. But I kind of gave her. I kind of told her at the time. I was like, you know what? You're pretty much gonna have to marry me. That was like the feel I gave her. I was like,
you're not giving a girl many options.
Yeah,
here.
I was like, yeah, Muslim.
Yeah,
you know
funny
what?
you
Like,
mentioned that. I was gonna mention that.
I'm not supposed to be dating, and whoever I'm gonna be with, I gotta be with for the rest of my life. But hey, it worked.
Yeah. So basically, you're like, we got to do the nikah right now, type of thing, right?
I kind of, but not really. I didn't bring up the nikah to her, but I told her like, hey, you know, we got to get married, and she's like, yeah, okay. She's like, yeah, why not?
She's like, F it, what else do I got going on? So then she's at Santa Ana College. So she's playing ball over there.
Yeah.
And you're a senior in school.
I'm a senior in high school. Yep.
Where are you working right now at that point?
I'm still working at Del Talk at this point.
Okay.
And now I guess I'm somewhat getting a little popular because now I got the swag. I got the swag. I'm not like that nerdy kid.
Yeah.
But then my high school, I was barely at my high school. I was with Kia at Santa Ana College all the time. I remember like 2 classes I didn't go the whole year.
Yeah.
Because I already had enough credits. Like I was taking summer school and
yeah.
I was like, I don't want to say I was a smart kid, but I always got good grades.
Yeah.
And I remember not going to my 0 period computer class, that's one thing I regret because I could have learned like coding and all this stuff. So I missed that. And then I missed the photography class.
Those are fun classes.
Those would have been fun. But like at the time, I was like, you know what? I'd rather have spent time with Kia.
Yeah.
And so I missed those classes.
Okay.
And then my other class, I would barely go. I only went enough to just get good grades.
Yeah.
I already knew I was going to go to Santa Ana College with Kia, so I didn't really care to go anywhere else.
You got it. Okay.
And I just needed to...
Just do enough to finish.
Do enough just to get my degree.
Yeah. Okay, so then you finish high school.
Yeah.
And then what happened next? Did you go to Santa Ana College?
I went to Santa Ana College,
okay.
yeah.
So, and then how long did you go there for?
I went there for 2 years.
Okay.
I got my AA degree.
Okay.
So so then at that time, me and Kia got a job at a timeshare company.
Okay.
Like where we're calling people and like trying to sell them on timeshares. Mm-hmm. And that kind of helped with my sales as well.
Yeah.
And then Kia ended up going off to college. And at that point, I remember my mom had a car for sale. This is kind of like my first car sale ever. Mm-hmm. My mom had a 1998 Plymouth Voyager. And at the time, she didn't need it anymore. Like, we didn't really need a van.
That was the minivan you were shuttling all the kids
minivan that I was shuttling around, yeah. And
you should have kept that.
I should have kept that.
And put it in the CarTrackers lot right now.
Look outside.
We have something to show you right now.
I'm trying to buy it back. I could probably figure out a way to... If I could find the VIN number, I could probably find it and then try to buy that car back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I said, my mom didn't want the car anymore. And it's like, hey, can you list this for sale on Craigslist? So she kind of introduced me to Craigslist.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I heard of this site. Can you list it up for $3,000? And I'm thinking $3,000, that's so cheap. It's a minivan, I knew the car drove well. So I listed it for $9,000. Mm-hmm. And I used to wash that thing. I used to keep it clean.
Yeah.
I remember I listed it for $9,000. In 2 days, within a couple of days, I got this family to come out. And I'm negotiating with this adult, like older dude, and I'm just like an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I remember selling some for $8,500. Mm-hmm. So I was able to get my mom an extra $5,500, which is
she was just
crazy. So I'm like, she was only expecting $3,000. Yep. So that helped pay for like half our year's rent at the time, because our rent at the time was like around $1,100-$1,200.
Yeah.
Or $1,000. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that kind of helped pay for that. So that was like a cool thing, like just seeing that I just made $5,500. Just think about it, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She only wanted $3,000. I was able to upsell it. and I kind of got an interest in like just buying and selling. And I remember I met one of our like community. There was a person in the community that used to deal in cars, and I kind of started working with him. He taught me a little bit about cars, and then I met one of his friends that kind of really put me on game.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned, I started learning the car business.
Amazing.
So he would find cars on Craigslist. He would send me out, and I would go buy cars pretty much all over Southern California. And I was buying cars that way. And at that time, like he would tell me, "Hey, go buy this car for $8,000," and I'd get it for cheaper. I get it for like $7,000 or $6,000 or $5,000 or whatever it was. I would negotiate. Yeah. And he saw that, and right away he's like, "Okay, you know what?" He figured at the time I was making like $200-$300. Sometimes he'll pay me $500 on a good deal. And he just at the time was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna make you a partner. Like I see, the value. You're really good at this." And we started. We became partners pretty much.
Amazing.
So I put up some of my capital. He put a majority of the capital. I think he invested like $300,000 at the time. And we were buying cars all over Southern California. And this is like where the hustle started. And I one of my sacrifices was like really couldn't, like I wasn't hanging out with friends. I didn't really have that type of experience, like kicking it with the homies. Like I didn't kick it with homies, so I met you guys, to be honest. So at this time, I'm just working. I stopped going to school. After I got my A degree, because I would go to class at Cal State Fullerton, a deal would come up and I would leave. So I was just like, this is not gonna work. I already figured out like I'm cool with the cars. I was doing well with it. So I kind of just stopped. I stopped going to class, which my mom was pissed at, but it is what it is. I'm glad I worked out.
100%.
So I remember trying for 2 semesters, and both semesters I didn't last a week. I just took the financial aid money and dipped.
The financial aid's coming for you now.
We finally got him.
I remember getting that FAFSA money.
Hey, this whole friendship started because of that. We've been undercover this whole time. Finally.
His first friends hanging out with him. Get out of here.
You think anybody would be hanging out with this guy?
But yeah, I remember at that time, like, going for cardio.
Dude, you were my best friend.
You were the groomsman at my wedding.
But yeah, I remember. So Kia had gone to Utah. Gone to Utah to Weber State to play basketball, and I had a lot of free time, and I was just working nonstop. I remember buying cars like all day. I remember one situation where I bought a car in San Diego. I drove to San Diego, bought a car. Drove back, went to LA, bought a car, and a deal came up in San Francisco. I flew up to San Francisco, bought a car all on the same day. Spent the night out there in this Lexus LX that I had bought. And the next morning, I was like, hey, I don't want to come back empty-handed. I had an SUV, and I bought another car out there and like trailered that back. I went to U-Haul, got like the $100 trailer and trailered the car back. So I was learning all these things, just like really hustling at that time. And that was like some of the most fun times, just running around, meeting all these different people, rich people, poor people, whatever, middle class people, just learning all these different personalities and really just building my like sales skills. And
can you share one of the stories? So obviously, we've been friends for a long time, and wherever I need something, like I need a ride to the valley to visit Nermeen, I would go with him, or he needs a ride to pick up a car. So he has some great stories. But can you please share when we picked up that Prius and we got stranded at a graveyard?
Oh my goodness, I remember that. I remember we bought a car. I think this is you went to go meet Nermeen, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and we bought a Prius out there. I bought multiple cars out in the area. And I was like, Ahmad, can you just bring this Prius back? And I didn't know at the time, like when the Prius the gas goes out, like all this weird stuff starts happening. And I guess we didn't check it, and Ahmad was driving back, and you were on like I think the 710 or the 105. I forget what freeway you're on. And he ends up exiting right by this mortuary. Calls me in the middle of the night. I had to like drive out. I don't know if my brother came or if I just came myself.
You came by yourself.
Good. And I remember just pushing the Prius.
Because the car's electric, we couldn't push it into gear. So we couldn't put it in neutral. So and on top of that, like it died while we were going uphill.
Yeah, it was like the craziest thing.
It was like I forget. I think you Ubered. It was like late. It was like
no, I didn't Uber. I drove out there.
I'm pretty sure
Uber was no Uber at that time. I drove out there, and I remember there was a tow truck that was passing by.
Happened to pass them by,
and I stopped the tow truck. We flagged the tow truck. Actually, there's 2 trucks. The first one was too expensive. And another guy came with like a rinky-dinky tow truck.
I was like, Ali, come on. I'm looking back at the cemetery.
And you see hands coming out. Hey, pay the man.
So I remember this like raggedy tow truck came by, and I stopped the guy. It's like, hey, can you tow this car back to Garden Grove? I need to get over there. And the guy did it for like $50 or whatever it was. So I remember that story. That was a pretty funny story.
Didn't the tow truck get pulled over? Or you got pulled over? Do you not remember that part?
I don't remember that part.
The tow truck got pulled over too.
Did he?
Yes.
Hey, poor guy's fighting illegal battles since his day for a $50 tow.
It was a whole night. It was like no, but it was, again, one of the memorable nights of this whole journey.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so then, so you started doing all these car things. You left Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah.
So you started just kind of diving deep, fully into cars.
Full into cars,
right?
yeah.
Meanwhile, Akia's in Utah. And so how was that dynamic with the relationship with her being out there?
It was tough. I mean, obviously we weren't there next to each other. So it was like a long distance relationship. It worked out. I mean, it was good. It was helping me, work on, work on the business, focus on my work. And she was able to like focus on school, focus on her basketball. And it was also cool for me because I was able to go out and visit her. And anytime I go visit her, I'd make a trip out of it. Like I'd buy cars out there, and that was pretty cool. Like she ended up introducing me this site out there, which I'm not going to reveal because I still use it to this day. But
amazing.
It was a site kind of like Craigslist that Utah only uses.
Oh, nice.
And I would buy like great deals on there, so it would pay for my trip. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
I would go out there. Like anytime I find deals, I'd make a trip out there. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, good. So it worked out. You got to see her. You got to get some cars. You keep
find a new website to buy cars on. It worked out.
There you go.
Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. So then, okay. So now, is this when? So you were working with a partner at this time?
Yeah.
Right. Was it AQ Motors or not yet?
It was AQ Motors.
It was AQ Motors.
Yeah. So I had started a dealer's license because he already had like other dealerships. He had a retail dealership.
Okay.
And ours was like a wholesale. We were just buying cars and just flipping them and selling them to dealers, or some cars I was flipping back on.
What year was this
Craigslist.
at this point?
This
just so we can get the timeline right.
It was like 2007, 2008.
2007, 2008.
Yeah.
So now kind of...
Actually 2006, 2007.
So kind of the timeline now, Matsky. Me and Amatsky kind of started hanging out 2007 ourselves, right?
Correct, yeah.
And that's when I started meeting a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, because Ahmad's sister married my brother.
Yeah.
So me and Amatsky started kind of hanging out, kind of on the light side, though. We just started playing ball.
It was cool because I played Asian basketball
with your other friends.
With my other friends,
and Caesar,
my high school friends, yep.
And I was playing there, and that's when we started dollar making, right?
So that's where we... Yeah.
But even, the thing is, before we started dollar making, we started playing ball at Murdy Park. Right?
Yeah, funny story. Murdy Park was right down the street from my high school. Literally, next street over. So I went to Ocean View High School, which was like
right there. So Amatsky started bringing me out to play ball, right? Okay. And that's when I started kind of meeting all the other Daisies, right? And that's when I had an encounter with another Qureshi, Mr. Young Asif Qureshi, right? And Asif had the dirtiest foul on me. And so we're playing pickup, right?
Okay.
And your boy's balling, right? Okay, and doing stuff, right? And there was this dirtiest foul ever. I was under the basket. I'm seeing it about to airball, right? I'm jumping up, and Asif shoves me in my back, right?
Yeah.
Like threw my back out practically, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck? Who did that? I turn around and I see it's Asif. I'm just enraged. I'm rushing over at him. Ahmad's holding me back. I push Ahmad off, and I push Asif, right?
Yeah.
And then that whole thing happened. Maybe we get separated, whatever. And then then I call up Wakas tells me later, he was like, hey, that he's just a kid, right? I think he was like 17, right? Yeah. I don't know. Like he's acting like a man. He's pushing me, right? So anyway, I felt so bad after that, and I called Wakas. I go, "Hey, Wakas," and they're all at 7-Eleven near there. After, and I was like, "Hey, Wakas, hey, please tell him I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. No matter what the thing is, I felt really bad about it, right? But I mean, that's been kind of the story with Asif. He always gets into this altercation or fight as your first thing. But obviously, as you know, I mean, Asif became one of my close friends later on, right? And then we also started playing ball, right?
Yeah.
You didn't come out to play ball at first,
didn't.
right?
I did not.
And that's right. Amatsky
wasn't there.
He wasn't there early. We all started kind of playing ball, like that group, right?
Sean Malik.
Sean, and with like Imran. No, I mean, we played at Cal State Fullerton.
No, university first.
We started playing ball with Asif a lot, right? And Asif would be, hanging out with us. So we started playing ball. And this is probably maybe a year later, 2 years later. So now this is probably like 2009, 2008, around then, right? 2008 probably, right? And then it was like, oh, Asif has a brother, right? you know. And I was like, oh, I didn't know Asif had a brother.
Yeah.
And then it would be like, oh, he's in the car business.
Yeah.
This is what I knew about you.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And oh, he plays ball too. I was like, oh, tell him to come out to play ball.
Yep.
And I think it was the first time you came at Cal State Fullerton to play ball with us, right? And the thing is, I didn't know you, right? I didn't know you at the time, and you were just another person to come play ball, right? And so you started coming to play ball more frequently then, right? And throughout that whole time, like, we didn't really talk too much.
We didn't,
we just played ball, right? And I remember I didn't have anything against you, right? I just didn't know you, you know? And I remember, I forget what it was. Asif, he comes up to me, he goes, hey, what do you have against my brother? You know, really? He like kind of confronted me about it,
really?
Right? Yeah. This is a long
told me about this.
Yeah, but honestly, I was like, I don't got anything against your brother. Yeah. I think it was something about like, because we were all hanging out and I didn't include you or anything, like that, you know? But I was like, I don't know him though, you know? Yeah. It was just because you're his brother doesn't mean I'm like, well, I just didn't know you, you know? And I remember Asif coming up to me, he was like, hey, what do you have against my brother? And I was like, Asif, I have nothing against your brother, you know?
He's your brother.
I was like, not really. No, I remember this. I remember very vividly, right? Because I remember telling Asif, I was like, oh no, Asif, hey, let me tell you right now, I got nothing against your brother. Yeah. Right? I just don't know him. I've never really hung out with him like that. Yeah. You know? And he was like, and Asif was like, oh, it just seems like you don't like him. And I was like, oh man, my bad. It seems like that. I just don't know him. I don't talk to him like that, you know? But I don't remember, we just started playing ball more. I mean, and as you play ball more, like that's honestly, Amasky, that's how I met so many people playing ball. And
that's how I met all these guys.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how like slowly the friendship started forming. And we just started playing ball. I mean, we ended up playing basketball like on the same team. We started Savage, together. Because when we started playing MBL, you were on what was the team?
I was on
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Yeah. Arsenal.
It was Arsenal. There. Amir Syed and it was cute.
Not Amir Syed. There was
Amir Javed.
Amir Javed.
And Wakas.
Zishanik Ball.
Yeah. And you were like the main guy on the team.
I was the main guy.
Or was it Wakas the main guy on the team?
Come on. I was all-star that game. Don't forget that.
Well, history tells us.
Hey, Wakas, I'm not gonna let any shade on Wakas come up on this podcast.
Ali called him out on the 1-on-1.
One-on-one right now. You versus Wakas. Who wins?
Destroy Wakas. Wakas, you know I destroy you.
Looking straight at him. The gauntlet challenge has been laid out. Wakas versus Ali.
No, Wakas is my boy.
No, of course we all love Wakas. No, so then we.
He actually texted me today.
What did he say?
He just wants to sell one of his cars.
Amazing. Wacky.
Yeah, you should have said you would have beat him. He would have beat you. You would have got the deal.
Actually, Wakas would beat me.
Yeah. All right, we shoot the whole thing.
No, so then we started playing ball more, right? And then slowly the friendship grew from there, and that's kind of how we got connected. How about, do you remember the first time you and Ali started getting connected?
It's through basketball. At Cal State Fullerton. I remember just like randomly we'd walk up, like we park and we'd walk up and we just start talking. I remember you telling me at the time you wanted to like get into 7-Elevens or get into franchising.
I remember your Facebook profile picture had a blue Ferrari.
Okay, it had a blue, or was it? Yeah, it had a blue Ferrari. Yep.
Do you remember what I'm talking about? Right?
360 Medina.
360 Medina. Yep.
I remember because I was like, oh, okay, because I knew you were into cars, and I remember I don't know why I just have that memory of a blue Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So at this point, you're dealing with more higher end cars. What's going on?
I was dealing with everything, all types of cars. I mean, at that time I was dealing with like $1,000 cars, 20,000, 30,000, just all different amounts. And so whatever would make money.
And so then I was watching some footage from my 30th birthday party, right? And the recurring joke and theme was Ali and the Craigslist flags, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? So that was.
Do
you remember that?
I remember just messaging people all the time on Facebook, like, "Hey, can you flag this ad?" Because that was a way to get ads down. And
so you guys were buying a lot of cars from Craigslist.
We were buying a lot of cars from Craigslist.
And in order to prevent other people from buying the car, you would try to flag flag it to bring it
Little
down.
did we know we could have taken those leads. Pass them on to,
He's giving us the leads the whole time.
Pass them on to our second sponsor, which is go ahead, man.
Oh, we have a few car buyer sponsors. No. So I was watching the and I completely forgot about that.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah,
I remember there's people that I didn't even know, and I would just be friends with them on Facebook, and I would just send them. I was like, "Can you flag this for me?"
Yeah,
People would just do it.
Oh, 100%. I remember
it was cool because in the beginning on Craigslist, I think like 5 people did it, it would work.
take it down.
And then they kept raising the standard, and it would be like 10 or 20 people.
Yeah.
So I would just message just random people or like my friends and be like, hey, can you flag this real quick for us?
No, and so that was kind of my early memories of Ali too. Is like I would get messages from him to flag cars, and I was online. I was sitting in the computer, sure, clicked on the link, flagged it, and I was like, I got you, big dog.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Early supporter.
Yeah, and that was early on memory with you, you know, and so I know Craigslist was a good source for you guys,
of course,
right? All right, so then now you guys are doing that. So then what happened next after that then?
So I remember going to my first vacation. This is after me and Kia got married. Did I touch on everything? I pretty much touched on everything in cars. Just working with this gentleman that taught me the car business, and I thank him for everything he taught me.
Yeah.
I remember going on vacation. My first time ever going on vacation. We went for Umrah. I took Kia. We went to Saudi Arabia, and then we went to Pakistan after. And I was gone for like 3 to 4 weeks. And I remember when I left and I got back, I made like no money. I think I made like $200 while I was gone. And I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. And when we had just gone back, and we found out Kia was pregnant as well. So I was like, look, like I'm about.
What year was this?
This was 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had the kids in 2013. So it was either end of 2012 or early 2013, around that time. And Kia at that time was like in my ear, like, hey, you know what? You could do this on your own. You could do this on your own. She would always say that for years. And I was just like, oh, I'm good. I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But that kind of like just lit a fire in me. And I was like, look, like I can't do this. Like if I have a business partner, I'm expecting like if I go on vacation or if I get sick or something, like I still have some income coming in, right? Like whenever he would travel, he'd always make money. Never had to worry about like not making money. Like I was holding it down, and I just felt like, I don't want to say betrayed, but I just felt like just didn't feel good about it.
100%.
It didn't feel good. I made like $200 while I was gone. That's nothing. That doesn't pay for anything.
Yeah.
And at that point, I went to him and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna, I'm gonna cut it off right now. I'm gonna just do my own thing.
How do you take that?
I think it was pretty tough for him.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like I think I was his best revenues or like income stream. I know he had his other dealerships, but I think what we were doing was,
you guys already had a good thing going.
We had a good thing going. Yeah. I remember just buying cars off Craigslist and reflipping on back on Craigslist the next day, and we're making $2,000-$3,000. He really taught me the business, and I appreciate him 100%. But there's a lot of things that I figured out on my own as well, and he taught me a lot. I will never forget.
Yeah,
that.
there's no taking away from that.
He taught me how to negotiate. Taught me not to be scared. Taught me how to like reflip cars, how to open a dealer's license. Taught me everything, and to this day I still thank him. But at this point, I'm like, you know what? I gotta start doing it on my own.
So when you had that conversation with him, did he try to talk you out of it? Like, hey, no, we can keep it going.
Yeah, he tried, but I just had made up my mind. I already knew, like, you know what, I was very nervous, to be honest.
Of course, like, that's like a tough conversation.
It was a very tough conversation. And then just me starting my own thing I was scared. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to do well. I didn't know if it was all him or was it just me or whatever. Like, this is really like kind of making me like, I was really second guessing myself. But, I just went in with it. Alhamdulillah, I felt like comfortable with comfortable with my decision. And I remember I was living at home, and I had just moved to Placentia. I think you guys used to come over. Had this one.
Yeah, I remember. By the railroad tracks.
Yep. So I was living there, and I just had to figure it out at that point. So then I started just selling cars on my own. I remember right before the kids were born. I hired one of my high school friends, Diego, and my brother came to work with me because at the time my brother was working for my partner's one of his dealerships. He was like a sales guy, and he was kind of like a manager there. Yeah. And he came and worked with me as well. And I had this attached garage, and I pretty much made my garage into an office. I had like 2 desks in there, and first day we bought a couple cars. I think we bought 2 cars. I'm like, okay, now I felt comfortable. I was like, okay, my first day we got 2 cars. Like, we're gonna make this work. Alhamdulillah, like I feel good about it. Kia was there working with us as well, and we just started rolling, buying cars out of a garage. I used to live on this cul-de-sac, and the whole cul-de-sac was full of my cars.
Yeah.
I remember that, and I was like right next to the auction as well. So if my street got full, I would just park in the front of Manheim, California's auction parking lot. And
your neighbors must have hated you.
Honestly, when we moved in, there was barely any neighbors.
Yeah.
We had just moved in. It was like a brand new complex, so it worked out. We didn't really have neighbors.
Yeah.
It was great. Even the security guard was super cool with me. He would always be like, hey, I'm watching your cars. Don't worry. Like this old Hispanic dude.
Free security.
Free security. It was like the best. I had no overhead.
Yeah.
It was like the best, best time. When you have no overhead, that's like such a great feeling.
Yeah.
Like everything you're making is like pure profit, right?
Yep.
And I remember he was like, oh yeah, you're good, don't worry. Like, and then when they started like, I used to park inside the community as well. And then they started like requiring parking permits. He's like, oh, don't worry, I got you. And I'm not gonna tow your car and all this stuff. Like I would tell him which cars are mine, and he wouldn't like tow my car. So it was a great setup where I was. And at that time I hired Hassan, Umair, Maz, like the 3 brothers.
Yep.
I grew up with them.
Yep.
So now we got a team of like five people. The kids were just born at this time, and like alhamdulillah, like right when the kids were born is really when my business took off. It was like, how they say when you have kids, it's like just a blessing. I remember buying certain cars and like selling them to like these exporters. I was buying like Toyota Highlanders. I was buying like Lexus RXs, all the cars they used to send you guys to fly.
Yep.
And there was this exporter. His name was Lee, and I knew nothing about him. Finds me one day, calls me out of the blue, is like, in his voice, Ali, I want to come see you, and like he comes to see me, and he's like, how many cars you got? I was like, I got like 5-6 Highlanders right here. He's like, I'll buy them all. I'm like, okay, and I just threw out this outrageous price, and he's like, okay, done. He's like, bring me the titles. I go inside my house, bring him the titles, hands me like $50,000 in cash.
Amazing.
I'm like, okay, what the heck just happened? Like, I used to have to like call people, like try to sell it to him. This guy just came and cashed me out. And he's like, okay, when can you get more cars? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, I need more. He's like, whatever you can get, I want to buy. I'm like, okay. So I started buying as many cars as I can. He's like, you can bring me 100, I'll pay you for 100 cars. And at that point, I started having my guys get to my house at 5 a.m. We were buying cars all over the United States. We'd start in the East Coast, like in Florida, and work our way. Like then we hit North Carolina, then Texas. By like 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, we hit Texas. Then 7 o'clock, we hit California dealers. And we're buying cars from everywhere, off Craigslist, off Auto Trader, off Cars.com, just anywhere we could find cars, we're buying them. And we went from buying like 3-4 cars to buying like 50 cars a week. It was crazy. And these cars at the time, the margins were ridiculous. We were buying them for like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, selling them for like 10,000.
Amazing.
It was like amazing. And this guy, as soon as I had like 20 cars, 30 cars, he'd come right away, cash me out.
Amazing.
Or like write me a check or wire. Whatever I needed, he would provide.
But you guys were like flying out to like Texas and driving that thing back.
We weren't driving them
not
back.
driving, meaning making that deal happen.
Yeah. So like my guys,
like you guys were like really trying to make it happen.
Yeah, and all my guys were on commission. These guys, were making good money as like 17, 18, 19-year-olds. They're all making good money. Yeah. And it was like so much fun, bro. At this point, I moved to like a 2-car garage, so our office got bigger. Yeah. And we just had I think I had like 5-6 people come into my house every morning at like 5 a.m. and just getting to work. All my guys were walking around with like $10,000-$20,000 in cash. Because like anytime a car would come up, they'd rush to the car, go buy it. So literally, I couldn't even keep track of like who. Like I had like a system in place, but you never know. Somebody else could have robbed me because it was just like it got out of control a little bit. Yeah. And I remember needing to get like a lot. Because like I couldn't park 50 cars on the street, right? This guy, I would need to like stack up cars.
The security was like, all right, Ali, things are getting a little out of. I know I said I got you, but let's figure something out, right?
I remember there was like this in the neighborhood where I was. There was this like older lady that had this big property. It was like all vacant, and she had like her 2 houses there, and then she had this big lot. And I remember going up to her and I was like, hey, I want to rent this lot. How much would you charge me? She's like, oh, I'll take like $1,500, which was like nothing. And it was like I could fit maybe like 50 cars on there, and it was perfect. It was literally walking distance from my house.
Amazing.
So I was like, done, let's do it. And I started parking cars there, and every time the cars was, I would sell them, he'd send his tow truck, pick up the cars. It was a great system. Every week we're providing him cars.
Yep.
the most fun I've had in my life, you know. And I didn't really get to hang out with friends. I was just so busy
with work,
you know, consumed in like work and trying to make money and, you know, try to build something, because I knew where I was at one point in life, and I wanted to, you know, I knew my kids were coming, and I wanted to like have, you know, I wanted to make my kids' life easy, pretty much.
Of course,
give them whatever they wanted, which could be, you know, bad, but that was just like my mindset.
Sure, your
right?
mentality, of course.
Just do whatever I can for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, alhamdulillah, like when I had them, blessings came, my business, alhamdulillah, was popping. So yeah, that was a great time in my life.
Amazing. So then now you guys are just flowing, you're growing now.
Yeah, growing.
Right? It's kind of that stage where you're on your own now.
Yeah.
You're growing. And then what took it to the next level then? Because I know you moved into a different office space.
Yeah, then we finally moved into an office.
I remember that first office you guys had.
Yeah.
It was on the second floor, nearby that.
Right next to the auction, right next to my house.
Yep.
It was right in front of Austin's house where he had moved.
I remember that, yeah.
And yeah, that was our first office. We had like, I think 6-7 employees. And business was already good, alhamdulillah. Like we were doing well. At this point, like the export market was dying out, and I had to learn like the local market, because export was kind of, they weren't buying as many cars.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had to pivot. And I knew how to buy and sell cars, but I needed to learn a new market. So then we started a company called, we started a website called Drive By, or Drive By USA. That was our website.
Yeah.
And pretty much we were just buying off. We started doing Google ads, which actually Ahmad introed me into. He actually taught me about it. He's like, hey, I remember coming to his office in Tustin, and he was like, oh yeah, you can like, you know, do all these type of ads, and like you were doing it for your dad's laptop business, right?
Yeah.
So I always tell Kia, like, Ahmad really like introduced me to like advertising and this and that, and we started doing that, and we would get calls for like all types of cars, and I didn't really know that market. Like I knew my Highlanders, I knew my Lexus, I knew certain things. So I would call like a couple of friends, like I remember Rizwan, Irfan's brother, I would call him, and I'd be like, hey, I need advice. Like all the advice you give me, I'll pay you per car. So I would meet up with him weekly or bi-weekly and like pay him for the advice he would give me. I remember asking like Umair, Ashraf at the time, like just different people, and just learning, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know, I'm not like all-knowing. I don't know everything.
Sure.
And at this time, I was just learning. And just started buying all these random cars, putting them at the auction. I was selling cars at Mannheim, which is like the largest auction house. And just was learning that market, right? Just selling cars there and building a whole new business. Because like the business was completely different. I went from exporting cars to now selling cars at Mannheim auction and doing like actual wholesale.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just like a different part of my life. But building that up, we went from doing like 10 cars, so we got to 100 cars. And then I ended up having this issue. I got into this like legal issue. I did something stupid, and it was just kind of like halted our growth. Right? It was something that I'm ashamed about, but I don't regret it, because it kind of shaped me to who I am. It helped me out. Like me learning this, having this learning lesson early on in life, set me up to not make those same mistakes later, right?
Yeah. And you guys were operating as AQ Motors still, or as Drive-By?
It was actually CarTrackers at this time.
Oh, so it's now CarTrackers.
Yeah, it was CarTrackers.
Okay.
So that's.
Wait, let me ask this before you jump into that.
Yeah.
What made you shift into the CarTrackers?
We just wanted a different name. We didn't. The AQ Motors just wasn't a name that we could brand. And I remember CarTrackers. The way we thought of it is because we used to have this Excel sheet, and we called it CarTracker.
The CarTracker.
Yeah. So it would like help us figure out where all our cars were, like, you know, what we had in inventory.
There was one time I remember you shared this with me. You were like, oh, you park your cars all around, all over Southern California, and you were like, I forgot where one of the cars were.
All the time. I swear, there was cars that because we had so much inventory at one point where like I lost cars all the time. I had cars.
How do you lose a car?
Okay, when you're buying cars all over the United States and you're buying at the volume we were buying, and I'm just using Google Sheets and Excel sheets. Yeah. We had cars like we forgot to pick up. Or
so you're telling me right now there's a car just sitting somewhere
everywhere
that's owned by you that
I've known at least like from back in the day, at least like 10 cars that I forgot about, and I'm like looking, I'm like, man, that's like 50,000-60,000
just out there.
But at the time we were making money, and it was just like, it was like out of sight, out of mind. Like
so are those cars still floating around out there right
Probably,
now? Probably. Oh man, I'm about to go find them right now.
A couple cars going to go pick up, and they were gone.
It's Nate. I saw the car tomorrow.
Did I see really with the new Highlander outside?
It's me.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man.
Okay, because I remember I talked to you before about this. I was like, Ali, how do you have just cars just losing track of them?
I know, it was crazy time for sure. I remember just one of my employees that was working for me in the Bay Area, not an employee, but he was buying cars for me.
Yeah.
I remember he bought a car for me and I forgot that he bought it. And the dude kept the car for years. And kept the car for years. And then one day I realized, I was like, man, where's this Toyota Prius at? And I I figured out that this guy bought it. I'm not gonna call out his name.
Yeah.
And the dude goes and sells it and keeps the money. And I could not believe it. Yeah. And I'm like calling him. I'm like, bro, you owe me this. You owe me this car. And he just stopped answering my calls. It was just like a dumb.
Let's put his name out there now on the Fresh Chai podcast.
It's not the same boy that I'm thinking, right?
You might. I don't want to talk about
the guy your boy that comes down.
One of my boys. Yeah, it was one of my boys.
Came down and had the accident in the park.
Yep.
I mean, we're getting really specific now.
Let's not bring it up.
No, it's all good. Okay, so. So now you brought up this legal issue you had.
Yeah.
And that kind of changed you.
Oh, 100%.
How did it change you?
So, we went from selling at Mannheim. I got kicked out of Mannheim at the time, actually. Mm-hmm. So Mannheim didn't want us selling cars there.
Yeah.
I actually had to go sell at a couple other auctions. One was like Avda, one was Odessa. Mm-hmm. And it kind of just like changed my whole perspective on life. At one point I'm like riding high, doing well. Felt like nothing can stop our business, and God just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he just set me straight pretty much.
Yep.
Like whatever I was doing wasn't right. He humbled me, right?
Yep.
I figured like, hey, you know what? I figured out like at this point like what I did was wrong. I learned from my mistake. Selling at an auction that wasn't performing like Mannheim. Mannheim is like the best auction that there is. I remember selling at Odessa, and our sales weren't that good. We were still selling cars, but the money wasn't there. And I remember there was this wholesaler that would buy from me. And I'm like looking at this guy and I'm like, bro, this guy was buying like 3-4 cars weekly from me. And I was like, who is this guy? And I know he was a wholesaler. And I was like figuring like he was outbidding like CarMax and other people. And one day I was like, let me follow and see where this guy sells his cars. And I seen he sells at Mannheim, San Francisco. And I remember following a couple of the cars. I was like, oh, that's my car. And I see it bring like $4,000 more. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, I got to get back into Mannheim.
Yeah.
So at that point, we rebranded. And we didn't rebrand. We started another company called Fresh Trades, Inc. And...
wait a minute.
Fresh Chai Trades?
Got him.
So we started this company called Fresh Trades, Inc. And at the time, like, I couldn't go back to Mannheim. I was like banned from Mannheim. So we opened it up under Kia's name. And we started selling cars at Mannheim again. And we're like the new hot seller, and people knew that it was CarTrackers, but it was under Fresh Trades. Like I wasn't associated with it.
And it was
and it was a good time. Like we were back at Mannheim, the cars, like I wasn't underselling cars anymore. And I appreciate the GM at the time, Chad. He took us in and gave us a shot when no one else wanted to. And we're back selling at Mannheim, doing well. We had our own lane again at Mannheim, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
And at this point, we wanted to start investing into like technology. And this was like around 2019. We started investing into Salesforce. We built our own CRM, DMS. We built our own software pretty much. And I remember spending all this money on it. I think we spent like anywhere from like 50 to 100 grand. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we spent all this money on. And as soon as we were going to launch in March of 2020, COVID happened.
Oh, yeah, March 2020.
March
exactly.
2020 was the day we were supposed to intro to our employees.
Yeah.
COVID happened. At this point, we have like 35, 40 employees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shoot. What the heck is going on? Like, the world stopped. Mannheim closed their auction for months.
Yeah.
It was like a crazy time.
Yep.
I had to, I never used to fire people. That was like one thing I never wanted to do. And I ended up, we ended up furloughing or laying off, I think like 30 people.
Yeah, man.
Which hurt, like I didn't want to do that.
Of course, yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect.
We didn't know what was going to happen. Yeah.
I just spent all this money on this business and, on this software. And then now this happens. Auctions close. I'm like, what the heck? I have so much inventory sitting in my lot. So we ended up selling on a different website called CarWave, and that was the only auction because it's like a digital auction. It was open, and the first few weeks was horrible. Nobody was buying cars. Cars were going for like 30% of value. Like a car that was worth 30 grand was going for like 10 grand, 15 grand. Nobody knew, and everyone was just like, "What the heck's gonna happen?" Everyone thought the world was ending. And then all of a sudden, like 2 months later, business just pops up. After they did the stimulus checks, business just like pops off.
Business just went crazy.
Business went crazy. Cars like, and we were the only ones really still doing the cars. A lot of people stopped doing it. Everyone was scared. Everyone was home, and we kept doing business. Like we kept buying cars. We just bought them cheap and sold them cheap, right? And people adjusted to it. People were selling their cars cheap, and we were just buying them cheap, selling them cheap. And I remember we had, I want to say like 3 sales guys. We went from like 30 plus sales guys to just 3 guys, 4 guys with our new software. And we were just killing it. Alhamdulillah, that was like, that or the Highliner time was like the best time.
Best time, yeah.
And at this point, Mannheim wanted our cars because Mannheim started opening back up. And they wanted our business. And they're like, hey, you know, we want Fresh Trades to come back. And I was like, you know, I'm happy where I'm at. Because like they kind of knew like I was pulling the strings in the back. And I was like, you know, we're good where we're at. And they're like, no, you got to come back. And they needed cars. At this time, everyone needed cars, right? It was like such a big thing. There was like a shortage of inventory. Dealers stopped making cars. And they just kept pushing. I remember this rep, Tanya, who now works for us. She was a salesperson at Mannheim, and Ramon were like calling me every week, like, hey, you know, just try us. So I remember selling cars on CarWave, and she's like, look, run the cars on CarWave on Monday and just try us on Tuesday at Mannheim. And I remember running like 40 cars on both platforms, and 1 week the cars brought $100,000 more
on Mannheim,
which is crazy. And I'm like, shoot. I gotta go back to
You're like, baby, take me back.
No, but at this point, I understood like situation. I was like, look, they need cars. And I wanted to get back into Mannheim. I was like, look, the only way we're coming back is if you guys reinstate me and you guys like CarTrackers back. Because I like the Fresh Trade name, but I like CarTrackers.
Of course, that's your brand.
It was a business that I built, and we're still buying cars under CarTrackers. We're just selling them under Fresh Trades. And CarWave was letting me sell under CarTrackers. So they're like, no, they're not going to do that. And I was like, fine, it's okay. I'll just stay at CarWave. Even though I was going to go to Mannheim. And they ended up calling me like the next week. They're like, hey, you're in. I'm like, I'm in? They're like, yeah, but you got to stop selling on CarWave. I was like, done. And
you're planning on it. I was like, done. No problem. They're like, that was a lot easier.
So what about the million? No, he said.
They're like, oh, you eat it up from the million? No, he said he accepted it right away. Okay. So then you got back in Mannheim.
We got back into Mannheim. And then, you know, alhamdulillah, business. We had a good little run.
And now you guys are doing a lot of, and so now you guys are back in Mannheim now. Now you guys are doing a lot of great things on social media.
Yeah,
I see your TikTok's blowing up.
It's doing pretty well,
how's that? Like, what was the mindset with that?
So I seen pretty much, actually I didn't know about like TikTok, and like, I never even had TikTok, to be honest. I had Instagram, and I remember like few people would be like, oh, there's this guy named George Saliba, you know, he's on TikTok, he's pretty popular. I remember Hamza telling me, I don't know if you told me, Ahmad, I remember Hamza Kaiser told me multiple times, and a few other people are like, oh, there's this guy George, and he buys cars and he sells cars. And I was like, I didn't even think about it. I was just like so busy with what I was doing.
About cars on YouTube and from Ben Vicky to Doug DeMero.
Yeah, you would tell me about all these things, and I was just like not into it. I was just like so consumed with what I was doing. I was just buying cars, selling cars. And I remember one day I was like, you know, let me just try it. So we just started shooting some content, and alhamdulillah, it worked. I mean, it started popping off for us. We started getting like clients from TikTok, from Instagram, and not just that. Like we got like brand awareness, because a lot of people don't know CarTracker. That's like the one thing I hate is when, you know, we call a customer and they're gonna sell their car to CarMax for like say 15,000. We're offering them like 16, and they're like, no, I'd rather just sell it to CarMax. I know CarMax. I don't know CarTrackers.
Yeah,
that's like the one thing that like burns my blood. I cannot stand it when people say that to me. I'll offer more. I'll offer like 1,000 more just because I hate that. And the customers still go with CarMax. It's crazy.
So there's a hack to get $1,000 more at CarTrackers.
One thing you got to know about Ali, he loves like the things he's doing, like his brands, his stuff. There's a reason I'm sitting here with the CarTrackers jacket right now. Let me tell you a little backstory. I was a little warm before we started this podcast, and I actually took this jacket off, and we're about to start, and Ali's like, "Hey, mate, where's your jacket?" And like, I looked at him, I was like, "All right, Ali, let me go put the jacket back on for you." So, he's here. Hey, I'm just making sure the logo's visible because otherwise I'm gonna get upset.
Flashback.
All right, let's get started. And
what happened to your jacket?
End of flashback.
I got my logo right here. My Nike fleece. Actually, logo's right here. But I'm always gonna wear my brand. I mean, I just feel like, why am I gonna support another company, right? Like, I'm not one to like wear all this designer and this and that. It doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather just wear CarTracker clothing. It's my brand. It's something that I've built, and I wear it every day. My wife hates it, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get the merch out there. Wear the shirts, the gear. I mean, it's your brand, like you said.
Yeah.
If you're not going to wear it, who else?
Who else is going to wear it? Yeah, so I love wearing it. It just, people always make fun of me about it, and I when I play basketball, I wear a CarTrackers jersey. When I go anywhere, I'm either wearing CarTracker hoodie, CarTracker shirt, CarTracker jacket. I got my CarTracker water bottle. Like, everything is CarTrackered out.
It sounds good. So it sounds like we need to give away some CarTracker merch to some viewers on the Fresh Drive podcast.
Let's do it,
You know, I think that'll be a nice little giveaway for this episode. What do you think?
I love it. They got some dope hats, some dope shirts.
So what merch are we gonna give away for the viewers?
Whatever, we can give away.
We'll do an Instagram raffle.
Yeah, and we'll do some like hoodies, some jackets.
Amazing. We'll do that.
Maybe some hats.
Sounds good. So you heard it here.
Do they have to sell their car to you?
To be entered into the raffle. No, okay, so you guys are doing great. You guys moved into a nice office in Orange. I don't know, is it Orange?
Anaheim,
okay, yeah. Right by the Honda Center.
Yeah, Honda Center and Angel Stadium.
Yep, Angel Stadium. Beautiful office.
Thank you.
What's next now for CarTrackers?
Just continue to build our brand. I mean, we're trying to like go nationwide. I mean, right now we're mostly buying in California. We've crept into like Arizona. We buy in like Washington, Oregon, just surrounding states. We really want to like take this across the U.S.
Yeah.
Another thing we're working on is we're building some software right now. So we've been working on this for the last, like, I want to say 6 months. We're building some AI. We're pretty much, whatever we built out in Salesforce, we're replicating it and building our own DMS CRM. And it's got AI intertwined with it. So it's going to be able to like call leads, handle leads, pretty much everything, like the whole system we've built out, we're going to give that to other dealers and charge a subscription for it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that should be releasing, I would say, like sometime in May.
Nice.
Is there a name for it?
It's Dealer IQ.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And so
.ai or .com?
It's me .ai.
It's going to be. Let me go and go down.
I think I have .com as well.
You got to make sure, as long as you have the website.
I have multiple.
You have the .com.
All of them, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Wait, we ain't talked about that. Yeah. No, that's awesome now.
Yeah.
Ali, so let me ask you this: with your business getting bigger, do you find yourself getting busier, not having that same time that with their kids? Are you like sacrificing with family time with it?
No, I feel like I spend a good amount of time with my kids. I mean, I would love to work less, but I mean, I love what I do. I enjoy the hustle. Yeah. And I enjoy the grind. And you know, I've learned a lot of stuff like the last few years. Like now I buy at the auctions. Like I've learned a different facet of the business. There's so many facets in the car business. I mean, I feel like it's the greatest industry in the world. Yeah. You can buy out of the, you know, you could buy from private. You can advertise. You could buy out at the auctions. You could buy from dealers. There's like so many ways you can make money in this business. And I'm continuously like learning new avenues of how to make money. And and I love that. I just love just learning. I don't want to be like stagnant and not learn new things.
Something you shared on our previous episode when we had Muba Man on, you were talking about, you know, a sacrifice from family, right? And I thought that story was really good. You know, I think it was a birthday dinner. Right? Yeah. Do you want to share that story? You know, kind of dive.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Mother's Day or it was something, and I took Kia out. This is when we just had the twins. Yeah. They're probably like 2 years old or like 1.5 years old. And I remember taking Kia out for like Mother's Day or something. And we were at Ocean Mastro's or something like. We're probably at Mastro's one in Newport, right next to Javier's.
The Ocean's one.
Ocean Club.
Yeah, and I remember we're at dinner, and this good deal comes up. It's like a $5,000 deal.
Yeah.
And I remember when my guy sent it, I was like 15 minutes away from the car. I'm in like that area. The car was like in, I think it was like in Laguna Niguel. And I look at Kia, and Kia just was like, go. Like she never.
It's Mother's Day dinner.
Yeah, Mother's Day. I felt like a jerk, but she was just like, go. It's a good deal. Like it would pay for the dinner plus like the rent for the month or whatever.
Yeah.
And Kia sacrificed a lot. Like I mean, this is like at 9 o'clock at night.
Ali leaves 2 lobsters, tails, and 3 sticks.
And the crazy thing, I just ordered, and this is like at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. We were already eating late because we were busy with working during the day, and she's like, just go. And I went, bought the car, rushed back as quick as possible. And it was like, I felt like when I got there, just seeing my wife by herself with my kids, I just felt like some type of way, like it was really sad. But like I appreciate my wife for even like letting me go. And like sacrificing in the business. So that was one thing that I brought up in the last podcast. I remember that. Yeah.
What message do you have for IKEA? And because it's kind of what we talked about. We don't always say these things to people. Yeah. If you could say a message to her, what would you say to her?
I appreciate Kia a lot. I mean, that's the love of my life. I told her when I first met. First took her out that I wanted to marry her. She sacrificed a lot. Yeah. She's done a lot. She's like, she's always there for me. Help build a business, help take it to the next level. She's one that introduced like the tech in the business. So she's done a lot. She knows what she's done in business.
And just from the standpoint of like the sacrifices, like what you
like
because like with
any other wife would have been pissed, right? Like I've heard other women like yell at their husbands for like taking the call or doing certain things, and my wife's always never had an issue. And you guys know when we used to play ball, I used to get called. I would like literally stop playing basketball and go take a call just to go try to buy a car or something, like or answer one of my employees. I would literally like I've left basketball before. I've left like I would be on my way to like hang out with my friends, and I would have to leave because like a deal came up or something came up business wise.
No, 100%. Like there'd be times where we're playing pickup, whatever, right? And we're playing like Ali has to take a call. We're back on defense with only 4 people, and then he'll put the phone down. He'll play the offensive side. He'll jump back in. I gotta go. Hey, let me shoot. We give it to him. He shoots 3, and then he goes back on to take the call. Continue.
And I always joke. I was like, man, I wish I was shooting content back in the day. That was like that was the best content, man. Like me taking these calls or like us like jumping fences to buy cars, and like it was like a rat race to cars. It was like the most fun.
Yeah. But with that, we're gonna take a quick sponsor break. So Ali, tell me about the whole process to like if I want to sell a car, like how would I go about doing it?
So simple. You just submit your lead on our website. Okay. We just need VIN or license plate, miles. You'll get a call from one of our team members, and we'll set up a video call. Okay. Super simple, super easy. It's quick. It's about like a 5-10 minute process. You jump on a video call, or you can send us pictures. We go through the condition of the vehicle. We do like a video test drive, and then we make you an offer on your vehicle.
What if if I have an Android phone, you guys can still do videos? Yep. Like, because you don't do FaceTime or only?
We could do like Google Duo. We could do any type of video call.
Okay.
Sometimes we do. There's so many different WhatsApp. There's so many different like video calls that you could do.
Got it. So that's not an issue, right?
No, not at all.
Okay, and then so how fast? And can you buy any vehicle? Like if I have a 1997 Toyota Avalon that I want to sell you,
we bought that 1997 Toyota Avalon, and we bought your what was your 335?
Yeah, I've sold several cars to Mr. Ali Qureshi. Yeah. No, but like I guess my question is, are you only looking for newer cars now, or like what are you looking for?
We don't really want like the junk or the stuff that doesn't run, but we'll buy it. Right? We buy everything and anything. Yeah. If it's got 4 wheels and it's got a title, we want it.
Got it.
Yeah. So we don't discriminate.
So a 1990 old car that has 300,000 miles.
We'll buy it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so then, how soon can I get paid?
Right away.
And like when you say, like, do you Venmo me? What do you do?
We do. So we do a form of payment called real-time payments. It's a Bank of America payment that they came out with, I think within the last couple of years. Okay. So it mimics Zelle. Okay. And it's instant payment.
Got it.
So we do payment right on the spot. So when our driver's here to pick up your vehicle, we wire you the funds before you hand over the keys.
Amazing. Yeah. So then, and how can people get a hold of you guys?
So they can submit on our website,
which
CarTrackers.com. They can go on any of our social platforms, the CarTrackers. or they can just call us 714-699-9899.
Got it.
The easiest way is to submit on the website.
Got it. And basically and what if they don't have the title?
So if they don't have the title, we pay off vehicles. So if they have a loan or if they have a lease, we pay off their vehicle.
Okay.
We can give them positive equity. So say you have a car and you owe $20,000 on the car and the car's worth $25,000. What we would do is we'd pay you $5,000 in equity and then we pay off your lien with your lien holder.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
And then what about people who have leases? Like, should they return it or should they reach out to you?
Never return your lease, guys. Never return your lease. Always look into a car company like us. We will pay you equity. There's thousands of dollars sometimes on these leases, and it's foolish for you to take it to the dealer, pay a disposition fee. Like when you return a lease, you got to put tires. You got to, if the windshield's cracked, you got to fix certain things. And then you pay a fee as well, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We pay equity out to customers all the time. Like during COVID, we were paying like $10,000 equity. It's not the same anymore, but certain cars still have that much. Like certain BMWs, certain Hondas, Toyotas will have like anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 in equity. So never return your lease. Even if you want to get out of your lease early, you can get out after a year, after 2 years, you might still have equity. And it takes 10 minutes to figure it out. Just submit on our website. It's super quick and super easy. Well, like, why would you not entertain that?
If, say, for example, if I have a 3-year lease and I'm in like year 1 of it, do you guys help getting out of leases early?
Of course, all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All the time.
That's good to know for all our viewers on the Fresh Eye Podcast. So now if somebody mentions the Fresh Eye Podcast to you, do they get any type of extra thing, payout for from
we'll throw $100 on top of their appraisal.
Amazing.
Yep.
So Ali, within the car business, there's a lot of people in the car business in our community alone.
Really is.
The Fresh Eye Podcast itself has 3 different car companies as their sponsors.
No competition.
So how's that been? I mean, especially you have like friends in the car business. How's that been with having so many people in the car business like close by to you?
I mean, I think it's great, honestly. I think it's just like competition. It's like, it's cool to know other people in the business, to be able to talk to them, hang out. Like I play basketball with multiple dealers weekly. I mean, there's so many people. You got Unique Autos. You got Imperial Trade Links. You got Car Master with Jay-Z. I don't know about if you know this company. There's another company. There's a bunch of companies. There's so many companies.
Carousing is out there.
Yeah,
another fellow sponsor of the Fresh Track Podcast. I got you, Muba, man. Don't worry.
Shout out to Muba.
Hey, by the way, all those other car companies you listed, because they're not sponsors, I'm gonna bleep their names out. Oh, cool. If you want, just check out Imperial Trade Links, Carousing, and CarTrackers. That's all you need to know.
No, everyone's great. I mean, I grew up with all these guys. And us, like, as a youth, like, taking over. I mean, I started CarTrackers. I mean, no shot to anyone else, but, all these companies, like, they've... Actually, I think Imperial started themselves, too. But, like, Unique, their dad was, like, kind of like a pioneer in this business, right? Like a lot of people came from his business. A lot of people work with him and then branched off. So that's just cool to, like, see... just different people in the community. Like I live in the same neighborhood as Unique Auto, so it's so funny that cool. Like he's like a competitor, I guess, but he's also a friend, and like we just did something funny together. It's cool.
No, exactly. It's fun to do all that and have so many people in the community. And we talked about this in Irfan's episode. Irfan mentioned that they had like this big like mafia type meeting between all the car dealers, right? Because I mean, it's very big in the Mayman community. Right?
It's all Maymans in the car business.
It's all Maymans, right? And
I'm like the outsider. I'm like the non-Mayman guy.
Yeah. So in the episode, Irfan talks about this like kind of like a mafia type meeting because they were saying, like the consumers were like benefiting because like you're like competing against each other. Like, hey, John Smith over here selling his car for $15,000. Ahmad comes in, hey, I'll buy it from you 16. I'm coming in. No, I don't want to lose it to you. I'm buying it for 17. So the only person benefiting is a consumer. And these other car companies are just like pricing each other out.
So retarded. We go through this all the time. Like, I can't stand it. Like, I'll call the dealer, like, if I know it's another dealer, and I'll be like, hey, let's just split it. Let's just work together. Like, there's no reason why we just give
more money away.
More money for no reason.
And
at that point,
cutting into each other's profits.
At some point, we're just losing money just to
beat the other person.
It's just a pride thing at the end of the day, which is retarded. Like, why not work together? Why not, like, split the profit, or you take one, I take one? There's ways to work together, right? It's just greed, man. People get too greedy in this business,
Yeah.
and that's like the one downfall. And we know each other. Like, it shouldn't be like we go to the same mosque, we go to the same parties. Like, I'll see them like every weekend. Like, there's no reason why we should just be like at each other's throats. Let's just work together.
Yeah, I mean, and what's it called? We wanted to announce the new car company, the Fresh Jive Car business.
Fresh Jive Car podcast.
Yeah, the Fresh Jive Podcast cars. Like and subscribe. But that's so true though, because like what you said, you guys all know each other.
We all know each other.
And the community. I mean, and if you don't know each other, you know somebody that works there.
We all know each other some way.
Some way, you're all
crazy.
connected.
It's so sad to see that. I'd rather work with them versus trying to beat them. I'd rather. If someone's coming to us, I'll be like, hey, let's just buy this together. Let's work it out.
Yeah.
I think it's foolish.
How do you guys ever know? Like,
because you need to see the offers, right?
Yeah.
No. What I mean to say is like, you're selling a car. I'm Imperial. He's CarTrackers.
Yeah.
You're not gonna tell him that you're selling it.
No. But in order for him to beat the offer, it has to be a written offer, and I have to show him the offer, right?
Oh,
right. Yeah. And then you say, here's my offer from Imperial.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd rather not. At the end of the day, I rather we're friends.
Yeah.
I play ball with them weekly.
Yeah.
I've known Irfan and Rizwan for years now. So.
Yeah. And you mentioned it earlier. Rizwan kind of helped you too.
Helped me. Yeah. I used to pay him for for advice. He would tell me, hey, buy this car. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I used to just shoot him some money over for per deal that I bought, and he was cool with it. I mean, it was a great learning experience for me.
Yeah.
He made some extra cash. It was cool.
Yeah. No. I mean, and like you said, it's a community, and you want to
It's a community. At the end of the day, we all can make money. Yeah. There's so many cars. I feel like the car business, there's so many cars, so many ways to make money. We can all make money together.
LQ, let's get you a seat on the table next time they have that mafia style meeting, man.
I don't know why. I don't think they want me there.
Why not?
I don't know.
You're an outlier over there.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like
you're the bad boy of the car business.
I feel like they think I'm a threat, and I'm there to work with everyone. I'm willing to work with anyone and everyone. I have no ego, no nothing.
Does Rizwan get an invite, or is it?
I think it's like a Maimon thing.
It's like a Maimon.
So does he? Yeah.
Yeah,
they're all Maimon. Yeah, they all. It's like it's different.
It's a Maimon thing.
Yeah.
Well, LQ, let's get you a seat on the table, Victor.
Hey, your brother.
My brother's like half Maimon now, right?
Wait. You mean Asif Razak? Did he take his last name?
Yeah, Asif Razak.
Yeah, no, he doesn't get an invite either. I don't know, but I'm down. I'm always down to link up with any of these dealers. I would love to just I hang out with a lot of these dealers anyways, or I play ball with them or whatever. I see them at different events, the masjid, whatever. I mean, I always try to even there was a deal I think recently that Irfan was on and we were on, and we worked it out. We're just like, hey, we'll take the car, we'll sell it, we'll just split the profit. Why do it any other way?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got, like we said, both of you guys lose at that point.
Yeah.
And what's the
foolish?
What do you guys get out of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and so then, is there any way you can collab and work with all these car companies in other ways, or how would you work with them though, besides splitting deals?
I think that's really the only way. At the end of the day, everyone is out, to support their families and make money.
Let's get some controversy on here. Who's the worst car company out of all your competitors? Come on, at least say a name.
We'll keep that on the hush hush. We'll just say the best is CarTrackers by far.
Okay.
We're the easiest way to sell your car.
Okay.
I feel like we are doing stuff that no one else is doing. Everyone else is. I feel like a lot of people have been doing the old school Desi way of buying and selling cars, which is great, but we've kind of
pioneered
a new way. And I'm happy and proud that we've changed it up. We've changed up the game.
Cool.
And I feel like now I see other dealers mimicking us, and I take that as a compliment. I think that's great. And I no way am I like, oh, you shouldn't do this. You're copying us. I think it's great. It just makes us feel better. It's a good thing that we've kind of changed the game up a little bit.
No, that's awesome.
I mean, let me tell you, last year. Me and this other car company, I'm not gonna say the name.
Sure. Let's put their names out there. I'm asking.
They're not a sponsor, but we were bidding at the auction.
Yeah,
and it was crazy how much money we were outbidding each other for no reason. Literally, I would say $200,000 a week. We were just making the banks richer, which was crazy. Out of spite for each other. I wouldn't want them to get a deal. They wouldn't want me to get a deal, and it was so foolish. It was the dumbest thing that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, the auction came up.
The auction came up, right? Or the banks came up, and deep down, I didn't feel good about it. I didn't like what we were doing, so I reached out multiple times. I was like, hey, let's figure this out. Like, this is foolish. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'd rather you make the money or I make the money versus, you know, the bank or you know, these certain sellers. Yeah, it's like, it's foolish. Like, we can figure it out. Like, you could take a certain percentage of the cars, I could take a certain percentage of the cars, and we can all be happy and make some money. Like, there's no reason why we need to be at each other's throats just for a pride thing. And at the end of the day, like, pride is such a dangerous thing.
Yeah, I mean, in all facets of life, right?
Facets, it's so, like one of the worst things to have, pride.
So how did that car company respond?
We've been working together. I mean, it's been better this year by far. Like, we're actually buying deals now. Like, I could buy a deal and make a few thousand. Before, I was buying deals making a couple $100 or losing money just to get the car, just to like flex, which was stupid. It makes no sense. Sometimes we, you know, there'd be a good deal that just come about, but it wasn't. It was really hard. And now we're actually like working together. We're, you know, I'm not gonna say it's perfect every week, but you know, we try, and I feel better about it now. I could sleep at night. I'm not like, man, I'm just like, you know, I'm like doing something out of like hate or doing something out of like envy or something. Like, it just, it doesn't feel good when you don't want something good for someone else, right? Like, you want something bad, and I feel like that's really bad.
And so, I mean, Ali, let me just say this: we're proud of you, man.
I appreciate it.
You know, you've done a really good job in the community. You know, you donate a lot to, you know, OCS and a lot of foundations, or Orange Crescent, you know, school. You do a lot for the community. You give back, and so, you know, we don't always say this, you know, but definitely proud of you of all the things you're doing, and just keep it up.
I appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, with that, you know, Matsuki, any closing comments for Ali?
No, man, just appreciate as a brother. You know, I think. I think we've known each other for quite some time, all of us, right? Yeah. I mean, like, I'm glad to say I've never gotten in a fight with one of you guys, right? And that's like, you know, I don't think we've never gotten any arguments. And like during those times, like, you know, when I was working for my dad, and I forget we at your office, we used to link up quite a lot. Off Lakeview. Oh yeah. Yeah, right? Like, so like, again, Ali's one of my like friends that like we share our business like ups and downs. Like, there's no judgment between us, right? Doesn't matter how like poor, like bad we're doing or what we're going through, or how like when we're doing something good, we're not bragging to each other. And we're just seriously like happy each other, you know? Like, the better you're doing, like the better, you know, like it makes me feel good. You know,
that's great to hear that. A lot of people are not like that. A lot of people when they see other people do well, they feel, you know, envy, or they feel some type of way. And that's great to know that you have friends that are supportive and happy.
100%. And you know, what's it called? We've talked a lot, you and I too. You know, and just talked about different things, legal stuff, non-legal stuff. You know, and you know, all the things you're doing. I'm really excited and proud of everything you're doing.
I appreciate it.
And just keep it up, man.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to give a shout out to, like, you know, my wife Kia, my brother Asif, who's been there throughout the whole journey. A couple of my staff members that have been there forever. You know who you are. I don't need to name everyone, but we have a great staff, guys that put in the work, day in and day out. I appreciate every single person that's ever worked with CarTrackers. I remember just hiring at one point, just having like 30, 40 people from the community. I'm always like trying to hire people that I know, or people that I know that they know, and just trying to just bring like youth in. Always try to help the youth.
Yeah, my commission has to be at least like $30K by now.
You're right.
I don't know how many cars.
Oh yeah.
I remember just going to MBL like just last season and seeing all these kids that worked at CarTrackers. It's a cool feeling, right? Like, oh, these guys are reporters, or these guys bought cars, and some guys are doing different things. You know, they obviously have moved on and are doing different things, but it's cool to see.
But like, you were a chapter in their life.
I was a chapter in their life. I taught them something, right? Whether, I don't know. I'm sure they've learned something working at our company.
It's a stepping stone, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. We'll probably end with this, but I saw this post and a question, and I really enjoyed it. If you could go back in time, and you're walking yourself like you're with yourself from kindergarten, and you can walk with your younger self for 1 minute, what would you say to your younger self?
In kindergarten?
Besides buy Bitcoin? But what message would you have for yourself?
Just take risks. I mean, don't be afraid to take risks. Yeah, that's like the one thing I would give myself advice. Don't be afraid to take risks, because you're always afraid, right? Like during COVID, I was afraid. During like certain times in my life in business, I've been afraid of certain things, and just taking that risk, you really learn, right? If you don't take that risk, you're never gonna learn.
Yep.
So that's just one thing, and just having confidence. Like that's the main thing. Confidence is key in anything you do, because like I remember like being in the car business early on, I didn't know much about cars, to be honest. I just knew how to like buy and sell.
Yeah.
So I would just like act like I knew what I was talking about, or I just bring up certain things, and you just have confidence, right? Like when you lose confidence,
I call
you do well.
Failing forward.
Yeah.
I truly do.
Yeah. I think just having confidence in anything you do, whether you know it or not, just acting like you know, it says a lot. Whether you're on the phone with the customer, you're dealing with somebody, selling a car, just having confidence is very key. Right. And that's something like I want to give my kids. You know, I just started, me and Kia, we've been like pushing the kids to buy cars. So it's like a cool thing, like teaching them early, like because they don't need to work, right?
Yeah.
But like I want them to learn this.
But I mean, you had
as a kid, I had to start doing it early.
You were doing it at 10, 11 years old yourself, right? And that kind of set the foundation for you as you got older.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So
I mean, you're like passing it down to your kids.
I think it's very important for them to learn these things, and I feel like for any parent, you should be teaching your kids like real life things. You're like, especially if you're a business owner, why not start introducing it to your kids? Because at the end of the day, who's going to take over the business, right?
Exactly.
Even though they don't want to, they want to. They're going to make it to the NBA.
Hey, I mean, as their future agent, yes, they are going to the NBA. No,
I know, but let's be realistic. I mean, they need to like.
Of course, we joke around about NBA. I mean, the chances of that are slim,
very slim,
super slim.
I hate to break my kid's heart, but it's very.
But of course, I mean, that's like a fun goal to have.
Yeah, and
but you gotta also always have a backup.
They have that goal, but they need a backup plan. They need to be able to learn different things. And I don't want them to necessarily be in the car business, but I wouldn't like tell them not to, right? Like I know how good the business does, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'd rather be a doctor, I'd rather be this, but at the end of the day, I feel like the car business is a great industry.
Yeah,
and I mean, people in the car business make more than doctors. They make more than lawyers. They make, they're some of the most wealthy people in the world.
They're doing great. I mean, hey, but don't shatter those dreams, because Ahmad's still an aspiring model himself. Hey.
Fresh Chat Podcast.
Ali, I didn't get you that bad.
All right, let's start off with my brother. As you guys can tell, my brother's been working out a lot, and a lot of his body parts are getting bigger. But one day I walked into the bathroom, and one part was getting a lot smaller. Lay off the supplements, bro. Alright, this past week, Samir announced he found his soulmate. That's funny because the same day, Jason Collins came out too. Hashtag he's into black guys.
Just like you.
By the way, is it just me or does he remind anyone else of Toucan Sam? I always carry fruit looks around him. Anyway, this is a mod joke. Zaid, I heard you've been at Cal State Long Beach for 6 years now. Are you on that 10-year program or?
6 years in.
Finally.
Double major, homie.
By the way, Zaid really looked bored tonight. I feel bad for him. He's already been rejected by every girl here. Also, he owes every single person here money. And last but not least, we have Money May, the 30-year-old virgin. May's gotta be the oldest they'd see without a wife. His family was so embarrassed, they decided not to show up tonight. They're actually so embarrassed, they all moved to Michigan. By the way, I had an announcement to make. There's also another reason why we all gather here tonight. He's actually taking the Shahada today and planning on converting to Islam.
I think the winner of the roast goes to LEQ.